Дякуємо за авто підписникам Меркадо Медіа. В цей час воно нам дуже необхідно.
Дякуємо глядачам каналу Меркадо Медіа за збір на цю автівку. Слава ЗСУ!
Слава Україні! Я головний сержант 2-ї саперної інженерної роти 33-го окремого інженерного батальйону. Хочу висловити подяку Меркадо та його підписникам за таку чудову машину. Ця машина нас приведе ближче до перемоги. Победа за нами, слава Україні!
Hi guys, today I want to appreciate the Mercado Media, all the friends and subscribers, and the Navy community for this wonderful pickup truck. Слава Україні!
Героям слава! Всім привіт! Я Вадим, позивний режисер, 42-га окрема механізована бригада. Ми зараз ведемо бої на Харківщині. Дякую Mercado Media і всім підписникам його каналу за придбаний автомобіль. Він дозволить нам ефективно і успішно виконувати бойові завдання на Харківщині. Я сподіваюся, що цей автомобіль дозволить швидше здобути нашу перемогу. Слава Україні!
I want to give a big thank you to Mercado Media and Johnny FD, two close friends who have helped me create this fundraiser between ourselves to help raise funds for what is needed essentially on the front line. I also want to give a big thank you to both Mercado Media and Johnny FD's followers for helping us achieve this goal of funding the first car for our fundraiser. The car is going to be put to good use on the front lines in aiding us with helping to carry out our mission and also helping us to clear Ukraine of the invader. Slava Ukraini.
Thank you, Mercado Media, Johnny FD, Kostak Gundi, and all your subscribers for the generous donation of this van. It will help us with our logistics in the International Legion.
Dear friends of NAFO, my name is Pete, hasta la vista, from Project Constantine. This beautiful beast was donated to the brigade that we're friendly with in the forest here, 67 Brigade. 69th Infantry Brigade donating to 67. It's pretty cool. I keep bumping into this vehicle in the forest. We never have time. We never have time to actually make any videos or get inside your vehicle and do any missions with it because we're like passing ships in the night here. But Mercado Media, Andrew, you NAFO supporters, it's beautiful to see this grand vehicle that you've got for this brigade because it's a reliable vehicle and I've never seen it anywhere other than in the forest. I've never seen it in the garage. And yes to that, and all Ukrainians must live. Bakhmut is Ukraine. This forest is Ukraine. And Mercado Media and NAFO, you guys are here supporting us, man, and we freaking love you to pieces. Thank you for what you're doing for the soldiers of Ukraine. God bless you. To victory. Do peremoje.
Well. Back again. June 1st, 2025. Back with another Ukraine update for you guys. Yesterday, I didn't have one like I wanted to. I slept a little bit too much. And then I was on a panel with the shills, and that was a great time. Great panel yesterday. Good talks. And there was some irony in that panel last night that we talked about. We talked about kind of the future of drone warfare and the future of the war. And it was brought up about the drones yesterday and the AI power that drones can have that we've seen in the front lines of Ukraine. And now here we are. Well. 2025, new year, new major attack on Russian airfield. You got like 40 plus Russian bombers that were destroyed today. It was this morning. But I posted everywhere. I was on my social media, my Facebook, on my threads, my YouTube community tab. I didn't go live because we had just finished a 14-hour stream with the panel, and then I had streamed The Division 2 for like 10 hours last night. But I had to get some sleep, but now I'm awake. But I had posted on my social media about this news about 7 hours ago. So if you guys want to make sure you get my news updates in quicker form than my live streams, because these take a little longer sometimes, obviously, because we dive in and we react to videos and read things. So if you guys would like to get those updates, follow me on social media, Facebook, Threads. No, I didn't post on Blue Sky. I'm not really a fan of it. I like Threads more. I think Threads is better. But I'm posting there too. So any long form Facebook post I make, I'm condensing it for Threads, so it's nice and easy for you guys to read. So let's go through the timeline of these strikes, and they started at like 5:46 in the morning. You got a whole timeline from Live UA Map, from local citizens reporting a massive UAV attack. And let's go through these videos one by one. Everybody check in where you guys are tuned in from, if you could. Put in the comments where you're watching from.
Смотри, что творится, я не знаю даже, что это сейчас взорвалось.
So you just hear FPV drones. Just FPVs in the sky. Operation
Что
Spiderweb.
творится, я не знаю даже.
This is referred to Operation Spiderweb. Really quick to give you guys some background. Ukraine used AI-powered drones. Okay, like I talked about them yesterday. Ironically, I didn't predict this. I didn't know this was going to happen. I just know what I saw when I went to Ukraine last year. That was last year, a year ago. I can only imagine. Like they were last year in Ukraine. We right before we went to our aid delivery, we had drone teams coming up to us like, "Hey, tell us about the situation. Come, can you write some notes down and tell us about the situation?" Because they weren't going to leave Kyiv, but we went to Kharkiv and then around the front lines. But they were already developing AI powered drones last year and the year before, but now they're being used. These were AI powered drones. They were hidden inside European style semi trucks. You guys, we're gonna get into that as well, just to give you guys some background on this. Like, how did Ukraine get these drones this deep into Russia? And not so deep. I'm a nuclear superpower, huh? Not so deep. We're nuclear powered. We're the strongest country. We don't get strikes like this. But Ukraine put them inside of a Euro truck to carry out devastating surprise attack on Russian air bases, destroying and damaging over 40 aircraft, including Tu-95 and A-50 radar planes, without informing Trump either. I wonder, why would you? The Ukraine developed these. Trump doesn't care. They don't care. They don't give a shit. Ukraine needs to do what they got to do. The operation, which was codenamed the Spiderweb, or just Spiderweb rather, involved smuggling drones inside wooden cabins on mounted trucks. Really quick, I'll show you guys that. Let me pull up my Facebook page. We can go through these videos, but I'm going to get you guys caught up because I have some people asking questions like, what happened? What is this? I was with my family or something. So try to give you guys some background. I'm also like, I'm not tired or anything. People on chat yesterday said I sounded tired. Well, I might be a little tired. I was up all day yesterday, but I'm also just getting over being sick a little bit too. I was sick like in the middle of the week randomly. But here are these drones and here are the containers that they're hidden. And I do put big updates out on my social media for you guys if you guys would like to read a little bit. But Ukraine pulled off one of the boldest operations of the war using AI-powered drones hidden inside European-style semi-trucks to strike deep inside of Russian territory. The drones were launched from covert wooden cabins. Okay, covert wooden cabins. Here's a photo of that. Yeah, what that looks like. Pretty cool. Getting sick. Dude, there's gonna be a movie made about this one probably. The drones were launched from the covert wooden cabins mounted on trucks stationed near key air bases. According to officials, the attack was so secretive that even the Trump administration was uninformed. The June 1st operation, codenamed Spiderweb, struck multiple Russian air bases, including Olena and Belaya, destroying or severely damaging over 40 military aircraft. Among the targets were Tu-95 and Tu-22M3 strategic bombers, as well as A-50 radar planes crucial to Russia's long-range strike and surveillance capabilities. Footage and satellite images show burning aircraft and heavy infrastructure damage. Ukrainian officials called it one of the most successful drone operations of the war. Well, this is one of the biggest Russian plane losses since World War II. I mean, they've taken massive losses in this war and their invasion of Ukraine, but this is very significant, right? This is a very, very significant strike in Russian territory. This is something that we've been waiting for, right? Something. Okay, well, Trump has been kicking the can down the road. Not that he doesn't care about Ukraine at all. And then we haven't really had much good news on the front lines right now. It's not going the best, but Ukraine's still fighting. Evidence continues to be shown. If you were like, what's Ukraine doing? I don't have any good Ukraine news. Here you go. And this is massive too. It's not just like like in the war, you have like things that happen and people can hype it up, right? Obviously, like, so like, and it just is what it is. You know, people have their platform and you do what they got to do. This is something worth hyping. Okay. This is not something that, you just, just another strike. No, this is very, very, very significant. These bombers strike Ukrainian cities every single day. Okay, this is what Russia uses to carry out their terrorism. Okay, Russia will bomb Ukrainian strategic positions, but mostly they use it to bomb and use cabs on Ukrainian cities and the civilians, and they use this to try to weaken the Ukrainian will to stay in the war, to keep fighting. They try to weaken the resilience of Ukraine like that, right? Because you could say, well, what is the military advantage of striking an apartment building? there isn't one unless it's filled with combatants, but in Ukraine's case, it's not. It's filled with civilians. And Russia does this to try to get Ukraine to quit, right? Because if you're losing civilians and it just feels like it's all hope is lost, but Ukraine has been able to find a resilience for 3 straight years. And these bombers are the ones that are responsible for carrying out those strikes. So it's very significant on multiple levels. Let me try to pull up the airfield here. I had some of this saved, but then I had to reset my computer. Let me get this pulled up here. I also had it, I have a bunch of bookmarks as well. I was like half asleep, getting ready to go to bed this morning, because again, we had a great stream yesterday. 10 hours, almost 11 hours straight. And this news came in. I was literally getting ready to go to bed. News came in. I was like, oh, it could be a good time for a stream, but I'm just dead tired. Let's see. I'm trying to get a GPS location on this quick so I can show you how far this thing is. It's not close. It's not like right on the other side of the border. You also have a, let me see this here. The Olena Air Base is north. That's the one where that's like north up by Finland. See this here. Hold on. Air base. Yeah. That's there they are. You can see, oh, my bad. You can see the bombers on the airfield where they were. Russian bombers were. That's their pronouns. There they go. They were there. There's the airfield. That's the airstrip. Let's zoom out. Where's that? Holy shit. Where's that at? There's Ukraine. That is not close. Like I told you, I try to get it as close as I could to try to tell you guys, like, this ain't you know what I mean? This was an operation. This was a clandestine ops. Okay. Mossad shit. Okay, guys, like this was beyond, or Dylan did a good one. I retweeted Dylan because the Russians are just, don't know what to think of this right now. So Aiden, who's obviously like a top Russian propagandist on X and all over the place, he's just a piece of shit. So he goes, this is Ukraine's big show. They're now expending 6 to 12 months of intelligence and sabotage operation planning right before negotiations are set to begin. Destroy a few bombers, kill some civilians by derailing trains. Assassinations utilizing suicide bombers and co-parter. Cry. Do you guys think tears like landed on this tweet while he was typing it? Like he had to he had to wipe his phone because the tears were just like landing on his cell phone or whatever he had, whatever Russian given thing he was given. This is what I talked about for a long time in the symmetrical war snowballs in Russia's favor. The Ukrainians, this is, anytime Ukraine actually does a big strike, it's never been to Russia's favor. Politically, it does because people play games, right? People play propaganda games and politicians are absolutely stupid, right? But whenever Ukraine actually does like a big strike like this, it's in Ukraine's favor every time. Between their counterattacks in 2022 to any major strike Ukraine has had of Russian equipment or their bases, it's always been a positive. And it's usually resulted in something given to Ukraine from the West right afterwards. Like, oh shit, Ukraine's still here, have some more weapons, I guess. But now, unfortunately, we have Trump, right? So it's different now. But you know, this in a way, in a backwards way, this could give the orange fucking Cheeto guy some type of leeway here, or some type of bargaining power, I guess. Right? I don't think Trump cares, but I think that, you know, now that Ukraine has shown, hey, Russia's weak. We just took out 40 of their biggest bombers in their aircraft. Far as hell, Trump. Look at that, huh? Look what we can do. We do have cards, actually. Hey, remember when you said you don't have the cards? There's Kyiv. Here's where they hit. What card is this one? Where do you get this one? This is the Uno reverse card. Okay. So I think this, in a way, again, I'm still not positive on Trump, but it'll cause a recalibration of the peace negotiations. We'll put it that way. I'm not going to predict anything because obviously predicting that shit is terrible. So we'll just say this will cause a reshuffling of all that, right? We can say that at least. Like they're getting Rubio and Witkoff and all the negotiators now have something now. Now they can go to Russia with some type of energy, like, hey, you just lost 40 bombers. You have less cards than we thought, even though they haven't had any. But anyways, that's the politics of it. So cope and seethe, Aiden, and I hope that the U.S. negotiating team and Trump's team can not put some pressure on Russia with this. Like, this is the perfect time to add all the pressure to Russia. Russia's been taking losses like this. Like, this is not this is a massive strike right now in 2025, but they're at nearly 1 million losses, guys. Like, what are we talking? That's why I get so frustrated with this, because it's like Russia is supposedly the second country of the world, right? Second to the United States, big nuclear superpower, right? For sure, all that. Massive country, yep, okay, imperialist power for sure, definitely. Okay, but it's taken 3 straight years to invade Ukraine. They're at almost 1 million losses. They're using North Korean soldiers to help because they suck, and then also they're using Iranian drones and other countries help because they suck. Ukraine is a small country, okay? It's a big European country for sure. For Europe, it's big, but it's not like it's about the size of Texas. And Russia's massive, giant, stupid country, and it's taken them over 3 straight years. Okay, and they're not. It's still, even though the Russians have had some advantages on the front lines right now, I wouldn't say that you can't say Russia's winning at all. It's like attrition. If anything, there'd probably be some more energy towards Russia. This is all absolutely failed, and I don't know why that message doesn't get through. Like, Russia, I wouldn't say is losing, but their objectives have all failed. So then what do you say then? Is it a loss because they keep going? You can't say it's a loss yet. Like, if Russia were to just finally end the war and leave Ukraine because they failed, then could we say, oh, Russia lost? Is that when we have to say so? But I wouldn't say that though, actually. I wouldn't say Russia's losing or Ukraine. But when you see things like this, 2025, June 1st, all of the pressure has been on Ukraine since Trump took power. Russia wanted Trump to win, so then all of this would happen, right? So the deck is stacked for Russia. Actually, the deck is stacked for Russia. They have all their favorite politicians in power in the U.S., and the aid to Ukraine is stopped. And well, the big aid to Ukraine, like significant state level aid from the U.S. is stopped. We still have like fundraisers and grassroots efforts, of course, but the big state level efforts have kind of went to the leeway because of Trump. But this is going to cause, if especially now, it would be actually like, listen, I think it would actually be super politically damaging for Trump or Trump's team to put pressure on Ukraine now, because I went on my timeline today and it's everywhere. We're unified right now. Okay, we're unified. I'm seeing people that are MAGA as fuck, and I don't even care today. I don't care. I'm seeing JD Vance's cousin, and he's commenting on my stuff. I'm commenting on my stuff, and we're all friends right now. Okay, it will be very politically damaging for Trump to, at Ukraine next week, or say, hey, Ukraine can't do that, or it'll be bad. It'll just be bad for him. I think even with his own base of people that are right wing that support Ukraine. So I think in a way this was very good all around. Like, good for obviously Ukraine strategically on their battlefield, not being hit with these bombers, but also I'm not going to predict something very, very positive, but it will definitely cause a reshuffling with the negotiations that Trump forces, right? Or maybe they just stop finally. Maybe they can stop because the negotiations are pointless. They are. Okay, let's just be honest. Russia doesn't want peace. They don't want peace. And you could say, well, how can you say that, Andrew? Well, Ukraine just struck Russian bombers. It's because yesterday Russia was attacking Ukraine. It just wasn't news. The day before, same thing. 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 Every day, every single day, Russia attacks Ukraine. It doesn't stop because there's no major news to talk, I guess. If you guys can follow some of the Ukrainian YouTubers and other people that talk about Ukraine every single day. I used to. A little less for my mental health these days, but people still talk about Ukraine every day. It's just not major news. But Russia's still attacking. Okay, they haven't stopped. They have no interest in peace. They have no interest in peace negotiations. So the best case scenario actually is for these peace negotiations to go away, to stop. And then Trump, we had Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal in Kyiv yesterday talking about sanctions package. It's something, okay? It's something right now, especially with all the energy that Ukraine has been receiving from our government, unfortunately. It's something with the sanctions package meeting yesterday, potentially, and then now these strikes today. I don't think they're not, I wouldn't say that they're not connected, okay? This Trump administration wasn't forewarned, but, maybe Kyiv told Graham and Blumenthal, like, hey, like, watch the news or something. Hey, good meeting, because they were both positive. Good meeting. Watch the news, and then bring the news to Washington so we can get some aid packages through, or at least a sanctions package, something on Russia. Okay, so good. This is all good all around, right? But obviously, the reciprocal of this is to prepare for a Russian attack, but we'll see what that would even look like. Okay, Russia usually responds to these with massive drone and strikes with these very bombers, with these very same bombers that we see. Let's go zoom in. You can see them again. Again, here's how far away it is, you guys, just in case you didn't see. It's not close. It's not close at all. And the fact that they used Euro trucks to get these drones deep behind enemy lines is wild. New Ukrainian aircraft carrier. Okay, we have to add it to Arma. Okay, this needs to be a new weapon and armor reforger to fight the Russians. Okay, we do that. That's another way I do support Ukraine. We play armor reforger on the side of Ukraine and we fundraise. And then it's just fun. Okay, but we need to have this now. This is, man, what an operation this is. I'm just still kind of speechless a little bit about all of this. One, with the AI powered, because in the video, which I'll pull up now, or multiple videos, you can see the AI. This is AI powered on the screen, and it finds the weakest spot in the bomber from the AI calibration, and then it'll obviously kamikaze into it like FPV operators do. But it's going to be AI powered drones here. Like there is, but I'm talking like for everything. And there's already drone on drone warfare. So the Russians have their drones, Ukraine has their drones, and they're in the sky fighting. It's already happening. But pretty quick here, it's going to be mostly AI powered, because it's just the way it's going. You could probably carry out drone swarms easier this way, right? When you have a drone operator, you have a drone operator, but it's hard to coordinate and be so precise. Plus you got the human aspect of it. Like the operator needs sleep, and you got the goggles in, which can eye strain and fatigue. It's not easy. You got to actually train on the FPVs. It's not something you can do right away. Motion sickness training, all that. With the AI, you don't have none of that. Okay, it's a machine operating these, and it's going to be bigger drone swarms as we continue here. Here's another video. We can go through them one more time in case you guys missed this first one. This is a timeline of the videos as they released, starting with the local citizens in Usolye, Serbiskoye, in the Irkutsk region. I've totally said all three of those things wrong. I don't care. It's okay. I tried. But this is the region we're looking at. Let me pull that up here. Okay, we're looking over here. Okay, I'll try to keep both of them on the screen. Let me circle both of them so you guys don't get lost on where we're looking at. Okay, here's Ukraine, obviously. Should we use this map instead? Maybe the GPS map's hard to see. There we go. Brighter colors. We like brighter colors. So here's Ukraine, obviously. Okay, and then here's where the strikes were. Okay, so you guys can see. So we're over here, and the civilians taking some videos of the drones coming in.
Смотри, что творится, я не знаю даже, что это сейчас взорвалось.
Это, наверное, диалект.
We're putting on subscriber mode on to filter out some of the trolls, guys. We have it's like the follow button on YouTube. Appreciate it.
Смотри, что творится, я не знаю даже, что это сейчас взорвалось.
You said Putin needs to stop this war. Yeah, he does. Yep. It's always, the energy is always needed to be put on Putin. Anybody that's put energy on Ukraine to stop the war is a clown. And honestly, you should never listen to them for anything. Ever. There's nothing of value there. If somebody got this one wrong, they will get everything wrong. Okay? There's nothing there for it. This is the most black and white, easy one, tutorial level. Hey, Russia's doing imperialism. Ukraine needs to defend themselves things ever. And if somebody decided to get it wrong, it's because number one, they were either paid by Russia to lie, literally, because you're paid, or two, they're so dumb, and then why would you ever value their information anyways? That you can get 18,000 other people to tell you the same thing of lies because they're being paid by Russia. Some more from the distance here. Not so deep. We're a nuclear superpower. Could imagine. Right? I always say this for the past 3 years, right? Russia claims that they're the #2 country in the world. Could you imagine my American audience, or even if you're in like a big European country and you just have your airfields on fire? Okay. And then again, in the propaganda, you're lying about it all. Like, hey, it's a special military operation in Ukraine. We're not really at war with Ukraine. And then routinely you have your factories on fire, your oil fields are on fire, your airfields are on fire. Okay. Like, honestly, if you're like, even if you're an ally of Russia, why would you be an ally to this? Why would you want to be an ally to this shithole? Dozens of aircraft were reportedly damaged or destroyed. Here's some more from the FPV angle. I have tons of video and stuff for you.
Оце так файно виглядає зараз аеродром Білорусі.
Яга.
Ворожа авіація.
Russian security services have reportedly detained a driver of a truck that... Oh. So here's one of the truck drivers in Russia. Special Euro truck operation.
Дрон полетел на высокий. Еще один дрон.
There it goes.
Дрон взлетает из КамАЗа.
It's a drone.
Дрон летит, его сбивают эти.
There it goes.
Зенитки.
Oops. How did that happen? Oops. Oopsie poopsie. It's a 2-minute video.
Из КамАЗа прямо на заправке. Из фуры.
Oh man, whenever the Russians see a Euro truck now, they're going to be freaking out.
Панцири их сбивают.
Incoming Ukrainian aircraft carrier coming through. Jesus. Oh, another one leaked out. How'd that happen? There's another drone.
Полетел на высокий.
Ivan just said I donated 300 to the Strenenko Foundation.
Сейчас
Good
его
job, Ivan.
панцирь будет сбивать.
Off to the airfield. Look at the police are just looking at it like, fuck, what do we do? Oh, you can hear the hits already. So the police have the road shut down. You can clearly see the drones coming out. They're literally coming out of the side of the truck. They're just watching it in amazement. Okay, listen. I'm just being honest. Like just like a third person scenario in America, if there was like a truck pulled over and drones started coming out of it, our cops would just start opening fire immediately. Just start shooting. Well, the Russian, wow. Just watching the drone leave the truck and head to where it's going. Bro, our cops would have the SEAL team police force there that we have, okay? They'd have all the operator cops out there doing target practice. Are you kidding me? Jesus.
Полетел.
Ow, suka. Just watch this drones. I don't know. I don't get it. God dang, dude. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys are wondering, well, what was the Russian what was the air defense doing? What were they doing in this situation? Wow. Wow, that's what they were doing, filming. Let's take a video. How'd you do? Well, the weapon's up. That's good. But all the targets you failed. This dude's in the air defense team. Wow. Yeah, I think this is the last video he's ever in. Damn. Well, it didn't go well, comrades. Help. Thank you. Wow. I love this. This is cool technology. Beautiful. Absolute cinema right there. Holy cow. What's the air defense doing, dude? What are you doing? You took a video. Saved a few other ones. Oh, you're gonna see cope like this as well. This has gone way too far. Direct attack on Russia's strategic nuclear triad one day before yet another Istanbul kabuki. The usual psychos don't want negotiations. They want war. Yeah. The ones defending themselves and the ones that are also on the side of being attacked every single day want the war for sure. Yeah, that's the facts there. Adam Kinzinger put a video. Ukraine does have the cards. I have some more videos just looking for them, guys. Comment in the chat where you guys are tuned in from. I didn't bookmark enough. I retweeted a bunch. I was so tired this morning. I was just hitting retweet on everything I saw. We got photos. Here you go. Here you go. All my retweets. History being made as we speak. Here they go. So you got the fail safe on there. You can see some of the AI technology on the drone. What up, Ontario? What up, Melbourne, Wisconsin? How you doing? What up, Nebraska? Good to have you. How we doing? How we doing? So again, multiple. 40 plus. The tires on the planes. It's Russia, guys. Guys. It's Russia. I mean, we're talking about here, eh? It's Russia here, eh? I don't know. There you go. Here's a longer wide angle. No audio on this one. I did share this to my Facebook page. There's no audio. Toot. Jaga jaga. Remember, thank you, Santa. Great work, Merck, Missouri here. How you doing? What up? We got Manitoba, Canada. We got Liverpool, United Kingdom, Los Angeles. Again, this was early this morning, guys, but again, I'm a human being, so I needed sleep, but we're up, covering it. You can follow me on social media to make sure you get postings. Try to get breaking news posts out fast as possible. Oh, they used Kate from Kharkiv's video. I just saw it. Love to see it. What else we got? So we got that timeline. Let me see. Live UA map has another series. There you go. Russian security services searched the warehouse in Chelyabinsk, which was geolocated. Isn't that the place in Family Guy where Meg goes there? Which is geolocated as an assembly facility of containers with drones from images. We can probably pull this up then. My God. Yep, that was just posted 23 minutes ago. So this is actually pretty fresh news here. What do we got? Here's more from the images of the preparations for the web special operation, which again, Spiderweb is the code name. There's some more images of the panels that these drones are hidden in. Wow. They can fit in that little tight of space. They're very cheap to produce. I mean, $500 might sound expensive in this economy, but for drone warfare and technology, that is not expensive. Okay. That is pretty cheap. And we've seen this picture of the bigger warehouse full of them. Those panels are wild. You guys can see that's how they fit into the trucks. And then the truck pulled over. A truck set to attack Ukrainka airbase in Amur region of Russia. Caught fire and exploded. Okay, so this one didn't make it. So there's going to be multiple. Dang. There's going to be multiple air bases. You had one big successful one. Guy shouldn't have been standing in there. Yeah. What else we got here? Videos of FPV strikes at the Balea airfield. Thank you, Yvonne, for the 10. A bad time to stand in the truck there, wasn't it? No audio on this. SBU is the new Mossad. Seems so. They're showing the Mossad something here. We had the clan. These operations are wild. Here's a longer, so that shows the angle of it. See the FPV flying. No audio. We're watching a video right now of the drone getting close to the line of aircraft. What is the air defense doing though? They probably figured why even station Russians this far. They probably don't have enough. Russia has the security of Swiss cheese. Seems so. Sure does seem so, doesn't it? Hello, what up, Simon? Reviewing some of the FPV footage here of the strike on the airfield. Right down the line. But again, these bombers these strike Ukrainian cities every day. They bomb Ukrainian cities every day. So this is a big deal. Okay. And plus the way that this operation was carried out, plus the fact this isn't close. Like I've told you guys, there's Ukraine. Okay. A lot of the cross-border operations are obviously just right to the northeast, like northeast of the Sumy region, or like south and southwest of Moscow. Like that's where a lot of the strikes are. But now, I mean, we've had some deep strikes. It's not like a drone flew all the way from Ukraine to there. This is different because of the trucks, and the drones were transported to this region through a Euro truck. Special Euro truck operation, you guys. Thank you, Yvonne, coming in hot with another 20. I appreciate that. And then we have a gifted from Sator to the chat. Appreciate you guys. Join the Discord server. We have a great community, both for Mercado Media, but also we have a great pro-Ukraine community at Mercado Media. If you guys want to get plugged in, share news, etc. Share the updates. Here's another FPV video. I got like 4 of them here. No audio. What up, Renegade Chungus? Renegade Chungus in the chat. Ooh, that one hit. Oh, wow. That was during the video. Let's go back here. Check this out. All right, watch the video. If you guys were looking away, I'm rewinding. Watch the video now. And watch. Thank you, Iconoclast, for the gifted. So we're watching an FPV drone fly over multiple bombers. Jeez, dude. What do they have tires on them for? Do they really put... Oh, my goodness. That was during the video. Is that a Russian out down there? Those are Russian soldiers on the ground. Nope. No, it wasn't. Nope, just equipment. Do they think the tires are going to stop the... What's up with the tires on the planes? You guys see those? You think they're going to stop the drones or what the... Whatever, bro. Tired of trying to make sense of the Russian brain. It's mush. There's nothing there. Anyways. The tires didn't work. Okay, here's a fresh view of it. None of the planes are on fire yet. For now. Look at this though. This is the AI getting this is not an operator doing this. This is AI. It's going to find the weak point of the bomber. Look at this shit. Scary. Scary for Russia. And found it. Target acquired. Imagine Siri's voice. Or Alexa. Moving in. There it goes. Goodbye. So that was before any of them went up. None of them are on fire in this video yet. Let me try to find the angle. Bang. Yeah, this is like the... Okay. So if you're Russian air defense, what are you doing? Like, what was that dude? What was that crew actually doing? Were they weren't, there's no way they were like watching these planes, because this drone had a lot of time, and they're not quiet. Right? You can hear it. Like, it makes a sound, so you can clearly hear when FPVs are near. But like, this drone was hovering over the plane and then slowly went down, and they didn't, whatever. But yeah, that's why it makes me mad when I see our government pressure Ukraine, because of how terrible Russia is at everything. And it's like, Russia's the whatever. It's frustrating, because of when I see things like that, it reminds me. It is good. I'm not it's great for you Ukrainians to keep doing stuff like that, but when we have all the energy at like, oh, well, Russia's not, they're not coming to the peace table, and we got to give more concessions to Russia, and that's like our government position. It's just the worst. It's just the worst. They have no, without the support of North Korea or Iran, Russia would have been cooked like in 2023. Without Iranians, heads, and then major support, like Ukraine would probably be still holding on to parts of Kursk because of the North Koreans coming in to help them. Without them, it would have been over with. It's frustrating. Here's some of the photos, some pics. I'm using this one as the thumbnail of the stream, so you should see that pretty quick. Thank you again for the 10 coming in hot. Well, now Ukraine has maps. It does. Yes, it does. Some more images from the strikes. And China, yep. In China. Technology-wise. And then again, here's the air defense team taking videos instead of shooting down the drones after every plane was on fire. Every plane. So what I thought was pretty funny, what I was reading earlier, is some of the Cope response to it. And Aiden, who is a very pro-Russian Vatnik on X, said, "Welcome to the Ukrainian jihad phase." Sure. Inshallah. Inshallah, brother. Fine. So be it. Trump's making Middle Eastern deals anyways. Okay. He loves the Middle East. All right. Now Ukraine could be Middle East. Let it happen. You're tapping into strategic reserves of copium. No, boy. Dylan did a good one too. This is Dylan's. The Ukrainian jihad phase. Voting record on Israel. Zelenskyy said to strip 3 Jewish oligarchs of citizenship. Ukraine says Palestine 1,000 tons of flour. Yes. Yes, this is the strategy we have not thought of. We've tried everything, you guys. This is the one. This is the fucking one. Plus then we can get the Palestine protesters on game now. Okay, they'll be in on this. Fuck yeah. The great shite in Russia will be driven out, inshallah. No, now the Zelenskyy and the rebel leader, he's the president now in Syria. The memes can become reality now. That's funny. Richard Woodruff put a video out of some of the...
A lot of you are wondering what has just hit 4 Russian air bases. Firstly, this is the best day of my life. Secondly, they look like this. Big boy drones, 13 or 15-inch kamikaze drones, plowing into every single one of these Russian strategic bombers. Дуже великий дякую to everyone that donates to Frontline kit, and Slava Ukraini.
Try to find some FPV fundraising to do. If you have like FPV fundraisers going on. We support a lot of the truck stuff. but we got there's a lot of need for FPVs right now, and that I think this could be a boost for that. Here's Adam Kinzinger on the strikes.
Well, hey everybody, it's a Sunday morning and we have to do an emergency video here. So woke up this morning to news that the Ukrainians have actually destroyed up to 1/3 of Russian bombers.
3+ years of the special military operation, 3 days to take Ukraine, and 1/3 of Russia's aircraft are gone. The Black Sea Fleet is irrelevant.
Now, here's a very important point. So this evidently was a plan that's been in the works for a little bit. It appears that they put first-person view.
Ukraine destroyed Russia's navy without a navy.
Drones on trucks that they pre-positioned deep into Russia. And
This is gonna be a skill check in the future. Like you're for like war, for people that are in like the law of war, or people that do battle staff training. Like, hey, POV, you're Ukraine in 2022 and you have to fight Russia. Good luck, figure it out like they did. And like, bro, what? No navy. You know, you got scraps of old post-Soviet era equipment. You got to work deals with the West to get little crumbs of gear from them, and you scrap it all together, and you're still in the fight 3+ years later, and Russia's still taking viral L's. You got to do that. Good luck.
Those FPV drones then went off and destroyed a significant amount. Some estimates are upwards of 40 Russian bombers and other aircraft. This is one of the biggest, I would say actually this is one of the most important days.
Ukraine landcraft carrier first in history.
Of the war. This probably rivals right there with the counteroffensive from a couple of years ago. This is extremely massive. And I think the important point here is, remember, not that long ago, Zelenskyy was in the Oval Office.
I wouldn't put it with the counteroffensive, but like it's up there with like news for sure in terms of like the ripple effect it'll have. Of course, we'd rather see Ukraine take back territory and get their land back. But right now, we're going to take what we can get. But it's still, I think it's like as significant. I think that would be accurate.
In the Oval Office, and Donald Trump said, you don't hold any of the cards. You hold no cards. Yeah, Zelenskyy evidently holds some cards.
Yeah, they do. There's a shitload of cards. There's a lot of cards in development too. A lot of cards in the deck that are being added. Even Lindsey Graham, who I still think is a clown. Let's see what he has to say. The ever-resourceful Ukraine used creative drone warfare tactics to successfully attack Russian bombers and military assets used to kill Ukrainian citizens and destroy their country. Russia indiscriminately kills men, women, and children. It's time for the world to act decisively against Russian aggression by holding China and others accountable for buying cheap Russian oil that props up Putin's war machine. If you want this war to end, push China to help end it. Yeah. But it would be easier to push Trump to help Ukraine, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, Lindsey Graham? Wouldn't it be easier to help like Trump not be stupid anymore? But that's not going to happen. But I get it though. Yeah, we probably both. Both is good. Both is good. But it'd probably start with America giving weapons to Ukraine, wouldn't it, guys? Isn't this the anniversary of Prigozhin? Is today the day Prigozhin fell out of the sky, guys? I think it is. We'll nuke us. We'll nuke you if you don't let us do whatever we want. Wait, why do you hate us? Are you Russophobic? Zogged? No. Or is it Prigozhin's birthday? It's Prigozhin's birthday today? Oh, damn. That's ironic. Isn't there some irony in that? Is today Prigozhin's birthday? He's obviously dead, but it's just so perfect. It's absolute cinema. It's absolute cinema. You can't make that up. You can't make it up. It's just meant to be. It was supposed to happen like this. His fucking birthday. Anyways, here's some more. Got some more. Russian bombers are burning in mass. We got a big thread here. I don't think we've seen this video yet. Shoigu!
Да, снимаю, вон горит. А вон пожарка приехала, наверное. А нет, горит.
Mama, Mama, why fire? Why fire on fields?
А вон пожарка приехала, наверное. А нет, горит.
Mama, why our sky filled with black cloud? They're far as hell, yo. I bet you these Russians have no idea what's going on. By choice or by design. But this is far as hell, yo. Especially they're like, what the hell is even happening? There's Russia, excuse me, there's Ukraine, there's Russia, Balea Air Base. There's the distance, about the area that video is taking place. It is pretty significant, you guys. Pretty freaking significant. What's air defense doing? Well, there you go, American vet bros. You may not believe in drone warfare, but you're certainly going to have to learn how to defend against it. Got to figure it out. Yeah, that video is the one where you can see one of the drones strike. Yeah, we need a Spiderweb patch. Trump, Ukraine has no cards. Ukraine destroys 1/3 of the Russia's bomber force. Trump. I added subtitles for you. Oh, we can. Oh, look at this video. You can see him come out of the truck with subtitles. There it goes. There goes the drone. Look at this joker. Whoa, out of nowhere. Opa. I'll be damned. Holy smokes, technology's come so far. Brother, what are we even driving anymore? Brother, this is not an opportunity for you to marvel at how great technology is. Your airfield is about to get blown up, sir. Wow, technology sure has come a long way. Man, over here in what region of Russia is this? The Irkutsk, whatever they got going on over here that people probably don't even know what the hell is going on at all. Wow. We are in the 21st century now, or whatever, the 20th century. Amazing. Out of nowhere. Opa. I'll be damned. Holy smokes. Technology, man. What are we even driving anymore? Better. Off piloting a drone. Oh. Oh. The cops are after it. Would you look at that? Some idiot spraying bullets. Oh, this is getting wild. Turns out he's a real piece of work. Oh, well, damn.
Ёбаный, он опять туда полетел, сука, в эту гущу. Вот еще один, сука, пидорас. Вот он еще один пидорас.
Average Sunday in Russia, the wild berries truck threw me off there. Wild berries. Get your daily dose of berries. Back to the video.
Опять туда полетел, сука, в эту гущу. Вот еще один, сука, пидорас. Вот он еще один пидорас.
Just a semi truck and drones are coming out of it. Wow, man, we're in the future, aren't we? Can't believe it. This guy's like Russia should maybe hire this dude as a reporter. Probably the most accurate Russian news report we've ever heard. Never heard such truth from a Russian source ever. Fuck. Wow, technology sure has come a long way. The police are shooting at it. Wow, that's happening today. Goodness, probably the most excitement Buddy's seen ever. I'm going to retweet that. I don't know what they have going on in that region of Russia, but nothing like this. Ah, man. Holy cow. The subtitles make it worth it. Let's go here. Oh, we should check out. I bet Rob Lee might have some. Go to some of my old sources. I don't know if he's posted. He hasn't posted them. There you go. The wake-up call should have been the UAV strike on the Kemim Air Base in 2018 that destroyed or damaged several... Ooh, I didn't even think about that. That was a while ago. Russia upgraded the HESCO type barriers for hangars there, but didn't do so at their wow. That probably should have done that, huh? Does the U.S. need to be building hardened aircraft shelters for it? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them are in there. That's a good question. And Russia having their planes out in the wide open sure isn't working out for them. So here's some details on some more details here. 3 hours ago, the Security Service of Ukraine, the SSU, conducted a special operation codenamed Povutnya, which is the web, the spider's web, on June 1st, 2025, striking 41 Russian strategic aircraft following over 18 months of preparation. So this is the Ukrainska Pravda within the SSU. So this is an 18-month operation that's been prepped. The operation, overseen by President Zelenskyy and executed by the SSU chief Vasyl Malyuk, was logistically complex, the source emphasized. The SSU first transported first-person view drones to Russia, which is FPV drones, then mobile wooden crates. On Russian territory, the drones were concealed under the roofs of these crates, mounted on lorries. At the designated time, the roofs were remotely opened and the drones took off to strike Russian bombers, as we saw in the video. Ukrainska Pravda has obtained a photograph from the operation's preparation phase. Where's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, the photo. Yeah, these are the preparation phase pictures then. So if you're like, oh, dang. When I first saw these, I'm like, oh, no, did Russia find their... No, these are just the SSU took these pictures for everyone to see, like, the preparation of it all. Because it's done now. Like, the operation's done. This is 18 months of prep. Missions carried out now. On to the next one, whatever they have planned. They can't repeat this now, right? Because the Russians now will be looking at every semi-truck that comes through now. So it's not like they can like do that again. So they'll have to figure out something different now. But still very successful. Hopefully we can get a special bridge operation next, if you guys know what I mean, huh? Here's Zelenskyy, head of the Security Service of Ukraine, Vasyl Malyuk, delivered a report regarding today's operation, an absolutely brilliant result. A result achieved solely by Ukraine, 1 year, 6 months, and 9 days from the start of planning to effective execution, our most long-range operation. Our people involved in preparing the operation were withdrawn from Russian territory in time. I thank General Malyuk for the success of Ukraine. I instructed the Security Service of Ukraine to inform the public about the details and results of the operation that can be disclosed. Of course, not everything can be revealed at this moment. Yeah, especially with an operation like this, because there could be some factors within that they want to keep for the next one, right? Or like strategies or whatever. Like you're not going to know everything. The fact that you know as much as we know is wild, because obviously that can't be replicated. They're going to check all the trucks now, so it just can't be done again. But some of the other aspects of it need to stay under OPSEC, because they're likely will repeat they might have connections within Russia, obviously, or they might have things going on there that or further clandestine operations that they can't talk about. Okay, that's just how it goes. Of course, not everything can be revealed, but these are Ukrainian actions that will undoubtedly be in the history books. Ukraine is defending itself, and rightfully so. We're doing everything to make Russia feel the need to end the war. Russia started this war. Russia must end it. Glory to Ukraine. Very successful. Holy cow. Look at all smiles. Holy cow. I haven't seen Zelenskyy smile like that in a while. Even for the picture, though. Wow. Very good news. Wonderfully done. It's very... What an op. Like I said, the Mossad are probably even jealous. I think they even made a comment, which is the Israel's operation. Nah, they're probably busy doing other shit, honestly. No, they only care about their shit. That's why I like Ukraine, because Ukraine like will be a part of everybody's stuff. Like they'll say like, "Hey, good job," or "Happy Memorial Day, America," or whatever, or some European country. But Israel just cares about themselves. Don't give a fuck about anyone else, to be honest. I love the jump he does at the end of that. Yes. Happy Pride Month too, by the way, guys. Aren't you happy that we support the they them army instead of the was were army? I'm here all week. Okay. Here all week. So Matt, they're talking about some irrelevant shit. See what we got from some of the bigger news here. Let's go Russia, Ukraine. See what some of the bigger articles are saying beyond X. Because yeah, the only value I get from this site is that thankfully in 2022 I followed a lot of good accounts that I still follow. But if you try to get into this now, it's probably cooked for you. So I feel it. If you're not on X anymore, I understand. But thankfully, I was in on it on the right time. So we got Russia and Ukraine step up the war on eve of peace talks. Oh, weak headline. On the eve of peace. What peace talks, bro? Stop. Okay, we gotta do a poll. How do I even label this? Ukraine, Russia, peace talks. On the did anyone even think that peace talks tomorrow were like something to even like look at, other than maybe like at the end of the day, oh, let me just check and see like what was talked about. No one is gearing up for something major tomorrow. Not a single person. Nobody is. I'll find out though. Maybe there is. Ukraine, Russia peace talks tomorrow, because there are tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Well, we'll talk about it on stream, of course, but like it's not going to be. Maybe there'll be more attention on it now after what happened today, but it's not the attention that oh, now there's a peace deal coming, or oh, Putin's going to be there now. No way. We'll do pointless, useful. No, we'll do pointless. No. I got you guys. I want to see the level of copium we have in the chat from Botniks. But Ukraine, Russia peace talks tomorrow will achieve peace. Will be useful. Pointless and useless. And then we'll give you unsure. I'll give you unsure. I'll give you a way out. Okay, so you got Ukraine, Russia peace talks tomorrow, because that is happening, and I will be talking about it on stream. We will be covering it and going through it all. So Ukraine, Russia peace talks tomorrow will achieve peace, will be useful. Will they be pointless and useless, or you're not sure? Okay, so bad headline so far. On the eve of peace talks, Ukraine and Russia sharply ramped up the war. One of the biggest drone attacks of the conflict, a Russian highway bridge. What did Russia amp up? Are they just using the Russian offensive as the amping up actions? We can go through a map update in a bit here, but we have to both sides it. It's both sides, Russia and Ukraine, guys. A Russian highway bridge. Okay, after days of uncertainty over whether or not Ukraine would even attend, President Zelenskyy said Defense Minister Rustem Umerov would sit down with Russian officials at the second round of direct peace talks on Monday. So Umerov is going, and that Russians aren't sending anyone. The first round of the talks, do you guys remember that do you guys even know that they had peace talks more than a week ago? Who knew that? Other than, all right, obviously if you're like super into Ukraine updates, you will know this, but if you're just, this is breaking news to you today, did you know that Russia and Ukraine held peace talks? I posted about it, and I did, but I understand how algorithms and information works now. So I know that, I bet you there's a lot of you that had no idea. You had no idea. It was the first meeting between Russia and Ukraine at this level, but that was the only significance of it, was that, oh wow, they met. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, or nothing came out of it. Amid talks of peace, though, there was much war, obviously. At least 7 people were killed, 69 injured in the highway bridge in Russia's Bryansk region. Neighboring Ukraine was blown up over a passenger train headed to Moscow with 388 people on board. No one claimed responsibility. Ukraine then attacked Russian nuclear-capable long-range bombers at a military base deep in Siberia on Sunday. Ukrainian intelligence officials said the first such attack so far from the front lines, more than 4,300 kilometers or 2,670 miles away. The official said the operation involved hiding, like we said. Okay, so we're ahead of the curve here. You guys can rewind. We did a dive into some of the clandestine operation and the trucks and the drones that are in the panels there. We looked at the photos and everything. Russia acknowledges airbase attacks as fires were put out. Ukraine did not tell the Trump administration about the attack in advance. Thank God they didn't. It would have been leaked to Russia. Russia's defense ministry acknowledged on Telegram messaging app that Ukraine had launched drone strikes against Russian military airfields across 5 regions on Sunday. What do you guys think about not telling America about it? Yes, W or L? I think that's a W. I think I'm glad they didn't. Even if I would have the same, even if Biden was president still, because we were holding back shit then too. And it was weird. It was getting weird. So I think I would have liked it. Well, no matter who is president, but obviously given the energy directed at Ukraine right now from Orange, Biden never did that to Ukraine. He didn't do that shit. But we needed more. Even when Biden was president, we needed more to support Ukraine. But I'm glad that it was just carried out by Ukraine. It said the attacks repelled the assaults in all but 2 regions, Murmansk in the far north and Irkutsk in Siberia, where the launch of FPV drones from an area in close proximity to airfields resulted in several aircraft catching fire. Okay, it's kind of a weak article there from Reuters. So I like them for most news, but kind of a weak article. When was this put out? No, that's irrelevant now. We need news from today. AP hasn't put anything out today about. Oh, there you go. My bad. Okay, so Ukraine destroys 40 aircraft deep inside Russia ahead of peace talks. Yeah, here's your peace talks. I mean, why not? Because Russia's not taking the peace talks seriously. Now, the day before peace talks, if anything, like I said at the start of the stream, this gives Ukraine cards. Now they have cards. Oh, we don't have cards, Trump? Now we do. How about this one? How about this card? It's a holographic card. Okay, so Ukrainian drone attacks destroyed more than 40 planes. Okay, military officials spoke with Associated Press on condition of anonymity to disclose operational details. So the far-reaching attack took more than a year, 18 months as we know. 18 months in preparation for this attack, you guys. In his evening address, Zelenskyy said that 117 drones had been used in the operation. He claimed the operation had been headquartered off of an office next to a local FSB headquarters. The FSB is the Russian Intelligence Security Service. The military source said it was an extremely complex operation involving the smuggling of first-person view or FPV drones to Russia. Oops, sorry, we got a pop-up. And they were placed in mobile wooden houses, as we know, or like the panels on the truck. Later, drones were hidden under the roofs, and these houses were already placed on the trucks. At the right moment, the roofs of the houses were remotely opened, which we should play that again for you. Do I have that here again? In case you're new to the stream here. Here's what that looks like one more time for you. Popping right up out of the panels.
Вот он, коптер опять взлетел. Откуда взлетает, ничего не понятно, блядь. Вот он, клоун, блядь. Оба ни с того ни с сего, сука. Оба! Вот дела, блядь. Ёб твою мать, до чего техника дошла. А нахуя мы работаем за рулем-то, блядь? Лучше он коптером управляй, нахуй. Грузовая и все. О, блядь.
Сука!
А, это менты сшибают его, прикинь? Это какой-то с автомата очередь, нахуй. О, нихуя себе дела, блядь. Оказывается, пидорас, оказывается. О, блядь.
Блядь.
Менты промазали,
the Wildberries truck.
Ёбаный, он опять туда полетел, сука, в эту гущу, нахуй. Вот еще один, сука, пидорас. Вот он, еще один пидорас.
Okay, so that's exactly what that looks like from the article. What else we got? Long range bombers targeted. Okay, so a Russian strikes hits an army unit. Yeah, that we did have that news come in. So maybe that's what they're talking about when Russia struck a training unit within Ukraine. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Try to give you guys all the news possible about it and how people are reporting it. So let's go to some of the world news next. And then we'll go back to X and review some clips. If you guys have clips, though, that I haven't played or like, Merc, you're missing it. Merc, well, actually, we'll go down the list of my Discord next. How about that? Right here, starting with Brian V. You guys should join my Discord server. Okay, I've seen comments like, oh, I didn't know you were live. Guess what? My Discord did, because I have notifications every time. You should join it. There's the stream. Major news, everyone. 2:13 p.m. Wow. You should join it. And you'll be there. And then you can be in the stream. Because YouTube sometimes does not send the updates. Now, damn it, where did the... Nope. There we go. Okay, starting with Brian. We'll start with Brian. We'll come back. We'll circle back to the Discord clips.
Now let's turn to some breaking news in the last half hour. And Ukraine claims to have hit more than 40 Russian bombers in what the country's security service says is a large-scale special operation aimed at destroying enemy bomber aircraft. Ukraine's released this footage, which it says shows a drone attack at the Belaya airbase in Siberia. And on the footage, which I don't believe we are able to actually show you at the moment, but you can see explosions visible with smoke rising. Reports suggest other aircraft have been attacked.
Okay, so that's the other one then. I was right. I just wanted to make sure so I didn't... So, okay, here's the Belaya airbase, and then the Olena one's right up here. That one's in this region. North of Murmansk, up actually to the east of Finland. So Ukraine struck here. Let me show you guys. They hit, here's Kyiv, bang, and then they hit up here. Let me put the X's on the screen. Okay, so they hit there, and then they hit at the airbase there. Nowhere freaking near Ukraine. Nowhere near.
At the Olena airbase near Murmansk. Well, Russian media is reporting the attack in Murmansk, but says air defences are working. Well, let's go straight to our World Affairs correspondent, Paul Adams, who is in Kyiv. Paul, this is just a developing story, so just tell us what more you can add to what we've said.
Yeah, it's certainly developing, and the information is coming thick and fast.
Thick.
You know, Ukrainians have experienced moments of...
Yeah, the Olena sub base was the Olena base by Finland was the sub base.
Euphoria when their military has conducted successful operations against major Russian military targets in the past. One thinks about the attack on the flagship of the Black Moskva, and the attack.
What Moskva doing, chat?
On the Kerch Bridge, both of those back in 2022. Already people here are beginning to wonder whether what happened this morning is the most audacious operation so far. Attacks on 4 separate air bases. One of them that you just referred to is 4,000 kilometers from Ukraine's border.
The big one. The Belaya air base that I have on the right side here.
The other one up in the Arctic Circle, well over 1,000 kilometers. And if the Ukrainian officials are to be believed, a very, very significant toll in terms of Russia's strategic aviation. The pictures that we have seen, and there are a lot of them around now, show drones attacking large strategic bombers parked on the tarmac in those air bases. Now, we can't verify at this point the extent of the damage. The drones involved were probably quite small ones. It'll be interesting to find out how this operation was launched, judging by the size.
Okay, so that's old news now. Okay, you're old now. You know how it was carried out. Here's Russia confirming. Maybe they have maybe they have updated news now. Man, we don't know what it looked like. We don't know how it happened. Don't worry, everyone else does.
Ukraine claims to have hit more than 40 Russian bombers in what the country's security service says is a large-scale special operation aimed at destroying enemy bomber aircraft. The attacks are reported to have taken place at several Russian air bases, some many thousands of kilometers from Ukraine. 2 locations are understood to be in Siberia: the Belaya air base in southern Russia and the Olena air base, which is in the north, near Murmansk. Well, the Ukrainian military has released footage which it says shows a line of Russian warplanes at Belaya. It appears to have been filmed by a drone and shows the aircraft exploding. Russian media is reporting the attack in Murmansk, but says air defences are working. Our World Affairs correspondent Paul Adams is in Kyiv for us.
Far from Ukraine's borders, an attack of astonishing audacity. Russian strategic bombers picked off one by one by a fleet of drones. Ukraine calling this Operation Spiderweb, personally overseen by President Zelenskyy. One of Kiev's boldest attacks so far, a reminder, despite Russia's
Operation Spider's Web,
overwhelming strength in numbers,
Spiderweb's in the chat,
that Ukraine is a resourceful, determined enemy. Sources.
You said how many more truck trailers are throughout Russia full of drones? Who knows? Who knows? Russia better figure it out.
Say this took a year and a half to prepare. Dozens of drones smuggled into Russia, stored on wooden pallets, loaded onto trucks, driven to distant airbases and launched remotely. Swarms of drones picked up on social media from Siberia to the Arctic Circle. At a petrol station north of Irkutsk, a glimpse of the operation in progress. With smoke already rising behind, a drone emerges from the
I like how Russia is so dog shit. Ukraine knows that Russia is so dog shit. They can literally pull these trucks up on the other side of the airfield and just sit them there and like start launching drones at Russia.
And heads off to join.
Yeah, this is a good spot. Yeah, let's go over and hit the
attack. Moments later, another, and gunfire as police officers.
It's not like these trucks are hidden. They're out in the wide open, pulled off on the side of the road, and then just drones are coming out of it.
Try to bring it down.
And we saw that clip.
From base to base, the smoldering aftermath testifying to the scope and ambition of the
operation. It's on Telegram.
Ukraine says it's done $2 billion worth of damage, a claim impossible to verify. Earlier, a different kind of wreckage. This, the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia, after the country suffered another major drone and missile attack. Elsewhere, 12 Ukrainian soldiers were killed at a training base, the head of Ukraine's land forces tendering his resignation. What chance then for another round of peace talks due to take place in Istanbul tomorrow? Russian and Ukrainian delegations are expected to be there, but after 24 hours of mayhem, the omens for a breakthrough do not seem good.
The people that think that there will be a breakthrough in peace talks have their head up their ass. They're not, they don't know what they're talking about. They have hopium in the wrong direction. They're like Lex Friedman's. Hey, in my heart, I just think there should be peace. I just think there should be. Yeah. Yep, there should be. Russia should stop attacking Ukraine, and then the war can stop. And then you won't see back and forth, or you won't see a guy in the Russian in the field and an FPV drone circling him, and a bunch of global war on terror vet bros saying, "Wow, this is a war crime. I'm gonna buy my coffee beans, come shoot guns with me." But war is so bad. That's why I can't stand it. There's a big population of like global war on terror vet bros that served in the conflicts I did. I didn't serve in combat, but people that did, that are fucking cooked. Okay, yeah, the war we served in was bad. The one we did was bad. Not the one Ukraine has to defend themselves. Just because America hasn't fought a just war since like World War II doesn't make that Ukraine defending themselves not a just cause to support. War is just bad, of course it is, but Russia started the freaking thing, and Ukraine has to defend themselves. And without that, Ukraine's not just going to lose their territory willy-nilly. Oh, sure, yeah, okay, Russia, you just blew up our village and killed all of our people. Yeah, we can't fight back because some 35-year-old that served in Iraq said that war is bad. So it's the worst, dude. And you should ignore those vets, okay? Thank them for their service, but fucking ignore everything they got to say. We fought a dumbass war. Our war was like our war was not just at all. Our war was revenge for 9/11, and that went 21 years too long.
Paul Adams reporting there. Well, for more analysis, I spoke earlier to Mikey Kay, the presenter of the BBC's Security Brief programme. Well, Mikey's also a former senior officer in the British military.
Two very separate locations, Regini, one in Murmansk up on the Finnish border, but the really critical one is the one down in Irkutsk, which is all the way down to the east on the Mongolian border, so thousands and thousands of kilometers apart. And Ukrainians have combined a concept of sabotage and just how difficult it is to not only detect a drone or swarms of drones, but actually take them down as well. And, I was speaking about this on the Ukraine cast just the other day with Lucy Hawkins. There's a lot of drone technology out there. Ukraine is leading from the front on that for offensive strike. But the bit which is really making governments struggle at the moment is how do you detect and then how do you shoot them down, especially if they're a swarm? And we can see from these. You
don't.
this video footage, just
Or
how
you have a net, right? We see some countries are trying to develop like a net or something. And you need like counter drones. You need drones. We're gonna have drones in the sky. It's gonna be drone warfare. It's gonna be Skynet. Just get used to it. Just prepare for it.
devastating the effect is. You're talking about strategic, long-range, deep attack assets. So you've got an A-50 in there, which has been hit, which is an airborne early warning aircraft. You don't get many of those in
Targeted EMP blasts. Like,
inventory.
You're gonna have like plasma guns and stuff soon. We're gonna be in Halo or soon.
And then you've got the Tu-95 Bear and the Tu-22 Tupolev Blackjack. Both of these aircraft can carry up to 8 cruise missiles, and they can fly a long distance. You know, we see Tu-95s coming around the Northern Cape, over the top of Norway, and then over the top of the UK and all the way down past Ireland. That's the range of these assets. So to have 40 of them taken out in this offensive drone strike by Ukraine will hit Putin really, really hard.
I just want to briefly ask you, because we're hearing reports on Reuters from Russia's defence ministry. They say all attacks on the airfields have been repelled, and they do say and confirm that several aircraft caught fire after those.
They were repelled, y'all. Here, the FPVs were all repelled. No damages. Everything is fine. Oof. They got them all.
Those attacks. What about the defence systems then on the Russian side?
What air defense systems?
I mean, you know, the Russians just will not have been prepared for something.
Are they ever?
Like this in Irkutsk, which is down near Mongolia. Russians have
No, don't even give them that. Don't even give them that. No, it's far away, but even close to Ukraine, these bases have been hit. Like, and their facilities get hit all the time. It happens all the time. They have nothing for that. All of their efforts are either in Ukraine or on the border to try to get ready for this offensive. They have nothing for this shit. They have like scraps to protect the rest of their country. It's a paper tiger. Then they have nukes at the end of the day, right? They have the nukes in the back pocket, of course. But until you get to that point, it's paper tiger time. There's nothing there.
S-400.
They have people that can overwhelm a force that's unequipped well. Like, but against a major power, though, a conventional war, Russia would get smoked until then they pull the nukes out, obviously, which is what people are afraid of. But until that point, they're trash.
Anti-aircraft, anti-cruise missile systems, but they're designed to take out exactly that. They're not designed to take out drones. There's new technology in the counter UAS or the counter drone warfare space, which involves laser weapon systems. The Americans have trialed and proven a laser-based capability.
Bubba, I'm timing you out for that comment. Just go fuck yourself, dude. That's so beyond the pale.
The Brits are trying all sorts. They're looking at what's called RF, radio frequency, and that's basically either taking a drone out with something like RF or preventing at least the controller talking to the drone. So
Ukraine prepared for this operation when Biden was president, and they didn't tell Trump. Okay, think about that. 18 months ago is when this plan started. It was just carried out, and they didn't tell Donald Trump about it.
The controller talks to the drone through an RF, a radio frequency, and it's intercepting that. If you
Big Mac can get blasted too. I'm tired of him. I remember when you guys thought that Big Mac was the midget Big Mac from the one YouTube channel that I don't like, but it's not. Yeah,
but it's extremely difficult, and governments are behind the curve on this deterrence of drones, and Ukraine has basically exploited that because the Russians would never have expected something like this, and they were brought in.
They never expect anything. They don't know what, they are always caught off guard. That's how it always should be. That's why it's important to support Ukraine militarily, because the Russians are on their heels when stuff like this happens. Let's go back to Discord now. All right, let's go down the list of clips that you guys have been sharing into the server for me. Some of them we might have seen already. Others we might not have. Let me see here. A lot of various videos. I'm going to skip some of the other ones. I'm going to focus on the strikes. Strong explosions and secondary explosions reported in Severomorsk. According to Russian channels, Severomorsk is the main administrative base of the Russian Northern Fleet. So you got more bases being hit, probably from these FPV drones. From the semi-trucks. This is a Telegram video. Oh, you can hear it. A lot of popping noises. That's from Noel Reports. And you can find these clips in our Discord server. What's this one out here? Russian ballet. Oh, got a thread. We got a thread. We looked at some of these videos already. Okay, we can review them because we might have some new viewers tune in. So we'll go through. This is Special Kirsten Cat. They're the homie. They're cool. Right now, the SBU is striking the Russian military. Well, 9 hours ago, the SBU is striking Russian military airfield Balaya in the Irkutsk region by controlling drones in the real time with the AI power.
Оце так файно виглядає зараз аеродром Білая. Стратегічна ворожа авіація.
Yaga. All right. Some more. We'll just go down the line.
Смотри, что творится, я не знаю даже, что это сейчас взорвалось.
Это, наверное, диалект.
Это вот
Уф.
еще больше стало гореть раза в 4.
А тот 8-й куда пролетел.
Еще один летит. Где?
Вон он по траектории. Вот сейчас. А как их не вычислят, откуда они летят?
Off to carry out the deed. You can never hide from the SBU. Definitely the most impressive operation of the entire war. It's a good one. They've conducted some big operations. This one's probably it could be the biggest one next to their counteroffensive. So I would still put the Kyiv, Kharkiv, Kherson counteroffensives. Those caught Russia off guard so much, and all the propaganda was against Ukraine completely at that point, and then they proved everyone wrong. Here they are again, doing the same thing. Oh, is this just a still image? No, here you go. So this video, this is the Olenogorsk Murmansk region. So this is to the north now. This one's in this region up here, to the east of Finland. Where are we at with it? Right here. Russians, your sky isn't supposed to look like this. You should tell Putin to stop. Could you imagine being in America and seeing our sky like this? Like the whole, I'm telling you, the world would shut down. If America was, Russia started the war, right? However, obviously now Ukraine is hitting back, and the Russian civilian population is seeing all this, and they're filming it and watching their videos. Bro, I'm telling you right now, America would shut down with like one FPV hit something. It doesn't matter what that something is in America. It would be the world would shut down for that one FPV drone in America. We have a big country.
Блять.
What are you talking? What is this Todd talking about? What is PLTR? I don't even know what that means. You said you mentioned it in chat. I don't. That's the first time. PLTR made me richer than Andrew. Okay, probably meth. Okay, we can skip that. Probably meth psychosis. That's what I've chalked it up to. I realized with the current events and breaking news, a lot of stimulants are involved with some viewers, and I get it. So I'm just gonna chalk it up to if it's incoherent like that, probably psychosis. Russian armor gets suitably dealt with by Ukraine at the front lines. Okay. Here's some various videos. 110th Mechanized Brigade. Not you, Todd, a different Todd. Not Todd M, different Todd. Look at that. What is that thing? What in the Mad Max? I don't even know what is that Would that be a BTR? I could probably reviewing combat videos now. It would be very difficult because what is that? BTR with a bunch of shit over it? So, bunch of Russian armor getting blown up along the front. So I'm looking for some videos from today. Ukrainian F-16 strike a Russian military position in Kursk Oblast. Guys, share clips from the airfield strike today. I'm going to skip a lot of these. Thank you for all the shares. There we go. Good morning, unless you don't want Putin the Hag and other... Okay. Thank you, Brian, for the shares here. We saw that clip on Twitter. Brian's holding it down with the shares here. No one else is sharing videos. Brian V in here. Goodness, you guys get tired of it? There's more. Oh, here's another angle. Fires at Olenia airbase earlier today were visible from kilometers away. At least 3 to 4 Russian strategic bombers were destroyed at this site alone. Massive blow. From an angle here.
Ой, блядь.
Uh-oh.
Что самолеты еще стоят до сих пор? Что, они их никуда сейчас не выведут? А? Они их сейчас никуда не выведут. Они их просто сейчас ебанутся.
Imagine looking out your window and this is what you see. Advanced drone operation.
Что, они их никуда сейчас не выведут? А? Они их сейчас никуда не выведут.
Finally, we have achieved the special military operation. It's finally been revealed to us. Okay, Ukrainian. You saw that video. Here's another one. Good one. In Belaya, Irkutsk region, Russians enjoying the view of the burning strategic military airfield. Enjoying the view.
Да. Он еще бахает.
Ой, смотри, новый взрыв.
Он въебали опять.
Опять.
Новый пошел.
Там что, дронов до нас не попадет?
Свежий дрон прилетел.
И, смотри, опять.
Здесь пиздец все.
Прямо
все
все
горит.
взрываются. Мама!
Оба, еще дроны хуярят.
Ой.
Где свежий?
Леша, нас не убьют?
Хуй я знаю. По населенную бы не нахуй.
Wow.
Пизда аэродрому на.
Что сказали, уже самолеты?
Все, он по всей Ангаре все хуярили.
Are they like in the middle of the field? There's strikes everywhere.
Ой, смотри, новый взрыв. Опять. Там что, дронов до нас не попадет?
О, еще стреляет.
Got him. What else we got? Volodymyr, Murmansk region residents report that the police and military completely blocked the town. No one is allowed to leave or enter. Oof. We got to figure out where these drones, who brought these drones in. You got another angle here. Belaya, Irkutsk region. Locals observe the attack on the Russian airbase.
Вон, там. Вот аж горит, видно. Что это интересно? А вот еще взорвалось только что.
There's a hit.
Ебать, взрывается. Вон.
Just watching the attack take place.
Горит, видно. Что это интересно? А вот еще взорвалось только что.
Goodness. Yep, that's my favorite one. Watching the drones literally come out of it. What do we got here? Another angle. Belaya, Irkutsk region, the truck from which the FPV drones were launched was set on fire after the end of the missions.
Ну да.
So they self-destruct after the drones went out? Damn. Russians just standing there watching this thing blow up.
Тротил?
Okay, so that's another angle of that same truck of the FPVs coming out of it.
Откуда взлетает, ничего не понятно, блядь. Вот он, клоун, блядь.
Same one.
Оба ни с того ни с сего, сука.
Suzanne said Zelenskyy said that the UA office of this op was located next door to an FSB office in one of Russia's oblasts.
Оба! Вот дела, блядь. Ёб твою мать, до чего техника дошла. А нахуя мы работаем за рулем-то, блядь? Лучше он коптером управляй, нахуй, грузовой и все. О, блядь. А, это менты сшибают его, прикинь? Это какой-то пидорас. С автомата очередь, нахуй. О, нихуя себе дела, блядь. Оказывается, пидорас, оказывается. Во, блядь. Менты промазали, нахуй.
One of the best videos. Okay, so that same angle, same video, same truck. And then the drones went across. We got another video here. Dang, this is a good line of videos. Belaya, Irkutsk region, Russian local residents report that the towns around the airbase are blocked. No one is allowed to leave or enter. You're stuck there now.
Привет, народ, салам, братва. Что-то здесь непонятно перед Иркутском творится за 80 километров.
Everybody will be searched. You must show your papers.
Воинская часть, где самолеты «Белый лебедь», говорит, стоят. Там вон пожары, что-то, говорит, взорвалось там. И дальше дорогу на Иркутск перекрыли. Вон там небольшой дымок. Тоже машина какие-то взрывчатые вещества везла. Что-то у нее загорелось, они разлетаться начали по типу вещей. Не знаю, что там. С Иркутска и на Иркутск стоим. Где-то километров 80 до Иркутска. Привет, народ, салам, братва.
Okay. Shut down. Can't move. What else we got? Same region. So this is the Belaya region. Cross that out. We're over here. A couple of these videos now. We've been over here. Far east. Russian citizen films burning airbase and cargo container from which FRV drones took off.
Вон эта хуета горит, машина с краю стояла, нахуй, сука. Вот от нее коптеры полетели, в рот их ебать. Они тут сцепились, нахуй. На этой стоянке, еб, на Валентинск, нахуй. Вот, 4 или 5 коптеров я снимал, блядь. Они сначала уебались, там, эти панели, нахуй, как бы эти, для солнечные. Что-то там они разбирались, нахуй, и, короче, все. И не стало никого, нахуй. И смотрю, блядь, один коптер взлетает, второй коптер взлетает, а третий, четвертый, ебаный. И вон дым, нахуй. Это аэродром похоже, нахуй. Вот он, блядь. О, хуярит, нахуй, ебаный. Там еще...
This is the guy in the truck. Okay, so this is the guy in the red truck from this video. Filming it, looking out the window like a moron. So here he is. This is him. This is his phone, and we're watching the video he's filming of this truck far away with like a dumbass standing there. Look at the... There he is. Same video. Same truck.
Машина с краю стояла, нахуй, сука. Вот от нее коптеры полетели, в рот их ебать. Они тут сцепились, нахуй. О, хуета, в рот меня ебать. Вон они, блядь, обломки полетели, сука. Вот такая ебатень, блядь. Вот пидоры ебаные, уже до Сибири добрались, нахуй. Ну что это такое, сука?
Сука!
Ну все, пора глушить их, нахуй, наглухо, нахуй. Что это за хуйня?
Sheesh.
Я только стакан принял, думаю, блядь, как хорошо отдохну, нихуя отдохнул, блядь.
Every Russian video we see of like the civilians filming sound like they're half a bottle deep. This dude's working though. Is that normal? Oh boy. Belaya, Irkutsk region. Beautiful view on the burning Russian airbase. Beautiful view. Holy. Let me get Ukrainian flags in the chat. Let me get Ukrainian flags spammed in the chat. My goodness, dude. Just another day in Russia. Here's an idea of the FPVs being used and the tools and weapons. The tool which helped unleash pure chaos on multiple Russian air bases today. Fiber optic FPV drones, AI powered. Big boys. And then the SBU details, of course. Okay. Another video from Olenogorsk. So this is in the northern one. Let me pull this up here. It's here. So now we're going back up to east of Finland. This one. Holy. This is the one where the nuclear sub was allegedly struck. Very, very significant, you guys, all around. All around. What a day. What a way to start June 2025, huh? We only get one June 2025 ever, and what a day it is. What a usage. Good use. Let's keep going. You've seen a couple of these, but I'll replay it in case you missed it a little earlier in the stream. Olenogorsk, Murmansk region, footages of the FPV attack. So here's a longer view of that. About a 3-minute clip. Let's go so you guys can see a little better. Yeah. We're just kind of covering the piece on the drone so you can see everything else here. Actually, let's go back to this corner, because this is just the information. You guys can see the video on the right side. Beautiful week to start your work week. Totally. Ukraine conducted, they conducted special Euro truck operation, we're going to call it. I saw the funniest meme too. We need a new Euro truck mod, you guys. Euro truck simulator. Special Russian airfield delivery mission. I want to do that. If there's a mod in that, that might be the game. That might be the mod to get me to play Euro Truck Simulator. Here you have an unknown load, and you have to go deliver it in the far east of Russia. Unknown reasons. Go. And then you get there, and you start hearing FPVs coming out of your truck. What? What is that? This is one of the FPVs on the airfield, showing multiple planes blown up. New UPS News Express service. Will this be in a future Call of Duty mission? Probably not, because Call of Duty sucks. Maybe Arma. You can already use drones in Arma. You can use FPVs and recon drones. It's crazy. All right. Oh, this is the long one. Okay, so then here's the one where it shows the drone calibrating to the bomber, getting right into the position where it's going to maximize its impact. We've seen this a couple times, but here it is again. Powered by AI here, because of how far away these drones are. Which this technology's been in development for a while. I told you guys about it literally yesterday on the panel with the shills. But I saw it with my own eyes, and AI drone companies were asking anybody going to the front lines for the past like 2 years to give some feedback to help them with their development of these types of drones and the technology that goes into it. And here it is. We're here. Future. The future is here. Here we got another Russian civilian cam. Russians climbed onto the truck in an attempt to prevent the takeoff of FPV drones and the attack of the airbase. Not sure about the exact location. Oh. Oh no. Oh wait. That's the same. Oh no. Uh-oh. That truck catches on fire. We know that, right? So this is the same. Okay. So this is the same semi truck now we've seen. And then we saw the same guy film the truck, and the truck was burning, wasn't it? The truck isn't burning yet. Are they throwing fucking rocks, bro? God, dude, this country is such a shithole. And it's embarrassing, man. It's truly embarrassing. We've had a government now in the US that's been cucked to this shit. So okay, so you have a okay, so you're POV, you're Russia, Okay, the airbase is literally on the other side of this highway. Okay, the airbase isn't far, and you don't have like enough military personnel to take this threat out. Because if this was the U.S. military and somebody parked a fucking semi truck on the within a 10-mile radius of an airbase, the military itself would take that thing out and remove the threat and cordon it off. And alongside the law enforcement, right? It'd be like a joint effort. You have civilians here, like on the other side of this airfield. The Russian military itself didn't shoot any of the drones down because they hit everything. Then you have civilians climbing on the top of this truck, throwing fucking rocks at it, bro. And we're supposed to take this country seriously. And like, oh, they're gonna nuke. They have rocks, bro. They have fucking nothing. They have nukes that might not work. And then I would like to see how that truck caught on fire. Whatever. Shithole country, guys. True definition of a shithole country. SBU had Maluk during the special operation Patutnya. Putting all the plans together. This is a meme now. So we can make this into a meme. You can see that the strike, yeah, they're the weak points of each aircraft. You can see that the strikes were not aimed at random places on the plane, but carefully planned at the most vulnerable parts, such as the fuel tanks, in order to maximize the chances of completely destroying the aircraft in case of a successful hit. Russia's needed to keep China in check. Think at this point you think Russia's keeping China in check? You think, well, brother, that is not the case. There's a reason why now when Xi comes to the Victory Day parades, Putin needs to say, without China in World War II, you know, Nazi Germany would have won. China soloed everybody by themselves, and so did we. But with China, and that's it. It was Russia and China versus Nazi Germany. That's Putin's Victory Day speech every year now for the past, well, I don't know how long now, but since I've been paying attention. Unfortunately, it seems that one of the disguised trucks with FPV drones failed to reach the target during the transportation of the Amur region of Russia. The ammunition has exploded. The designated target likely was the Ukrainka base, which is 6,000 kilometers. Damn! So the Russians were able to stop one of these, but this was 2,000 kilometers further. You guys gotta, Ukraine has other things up their sleeve too, you guys. This was 18 months of preparation. And the fact that Ukraine knew that this operation was being prepped and it was going to happen, even through all of the bullshit from Trump. Because it's true, it just is what it is. Cope and see. Trump has been a dickhead to Zelenskyy, right? In the Oval Office, all of this was going to happen still. You remember that. Like all of the bullshit now that has been hurled at Ukraine for the past 4 months, this operation was still eventually going to take place. Maybe that's why Ukraine was like, man, we just got to suck it up and just take Trump's nonsense because this is going to happen and it'll cause a ripple effect somehow. We don't know. Maybe they didn't know where the chips will fall after this, but at least they knew it was going to be how Trump wanted. Masterful gambit, right?
That this... Все вокруг горит, нахуй. Фура загорелась на ходу. Хуярила, блядь. Пиздец, нахуй. Вот она стоит. 74-й регион. Будка сгоревшая, нахуй.
Damn it.
Тягача не видать.
Didn't make it.
Нахуй. Но он ехал, блядь, хуй знает, километров, блядь, я не знаю, блядь. Короче, от этой, нахуй, от Серышевской развязки, нахуй. И, блядь, километров 5-7.
So he just keeps talking and ranting. Is there another truck? Oh. He just... Probably a bad day to be a trucker in Russia, huh? Holy. Oh, that's the same truck, just going the other way now. just got to carry on with our day. You know, just another day in Russia. Truck over on fire from the FPV drones that came out of it. We saw this video a little earlier, but here it is again. Kind of at an angle from, this is in Olenogorsk, just east of Finland, so up here. In the red box. There were 4 major bases struck, but a lot of the clips we're getting are from 2 major bases. And they're getting the most attention because they're far as hell from Ukraine. Good afternoon, Troy. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. If you guys could take a moment and hit the like button on the stream, it would just help the algorithm of my stream and the news coverage. I appreciate that. I don't usually do streams on Sundays, but today is not a usual day. Well, I'll do gaming, but I usually need a day off. But oh shit, I don't need a day off. Well, yeah, here's another view. Monday through Friday, guaranteed streams though.
Там постройки, но горит все. Раз, два, 3. Ну там 2 больших, как будто 5, 4 или 5. Ну да, как будто так. Пиздец. Вот это страшно. Средняя авиабаза здесь, воинские части.
We need to help Ukraine. We need to continue to militarily support Ukraine. It's clown work to propagandize all this. Russia is a paper tiger. Yes, they pose threat to the front lines of Ukraine, right? Like we see. It's not like, you know, you can say, oh, they're just, Russia's nothing. They're for sure something. And they for sure pose a threat to the front lines of Ukraine. But imagine if Ukraine was properly supported, if they had their units filled, they had a Western force with them to support, because Russia's using like 3 different countries to help them. I think the tables, it would be different. I think it would. Ukraine's doing everything they can. But it's, Russia continues to show just how weak they are, though. You know, and it always comes with a caveat, because I know the frontline soldiers would say otherwise, and they're valid, right? If you talk to a Ukrainian frontline soldier, they will never say Russia's weak, okay? Because they have a warrior mentality. Obviously, they fought Russia. They've been battling Russian soldiers, so they will definitely have a different mentality. They're not wrong. They're not wrong either. But on the grander picture, though, when you zoom out a little bit from the front lines, because it's still valid, still feelings on the front lines are valid. You zoom out to the bigger picture, though, this adds to the general weakness of Russia, though. And then they're not what we thought they were. They're not the big, scary. They are big. They're a big country. They can be scary if they're not actually held accountable, or there's not enough people to condemn Russia or help the victim that Russia is conducting imperialism on. That can be scary, right? And silly, because when we stand together and support Ukraine, Russia, the massive L's, it just is what it is. It's just what happens. It's when propaganda takes over, Russian money reaches pockets of people, and then they start lying and telling lies about Ukraine, or directing attention, like I mentioned earlier, to a Russian soldier in a field, and like, oh, this guy, he went to Ukraine and war is so bad and we just need to stop and there just needs to be peace and people dying is bad. It's so dumb. It's just pointless, right? Russia started the war. The only reason that soldier is in Ukraine is because Putin sent him there. And that is the facts. No other nonsense. Ukraine wants their independence. They wanted their independence. They've been an independent country since 91, but they've been fighting for it ever since, constantly. Okay, they want to be independent. They want to have their own manifest destiny. They want to do what they want to do, have their own deals. They don't want to be owned by Russia anymore. Okay, and they haven't been. They've been working against it for a long time now. But this is all still part of that. This is all still that breakup process away from Russian control and the corruption that Russia brings. A lot of the corruption Ukraine has is from Russian influence, to be honest, especially from the East. Right? Russian politicians in there still, or like Russians doing Russian shit with Ukraine. Okay, Ukraine isn't perfect. No country is, especially in the United States, especially right now. Hello. However, a lot of this influence is breaking free from Russia, okay, and getting away from that, and getting into a free market, getting into the Western markets where there still is corruption for sure, definitely, but not like, you know, we're not bombing our neighbor countries. Like, thankfully, Trump is flirting with some stupid stuff like that. But you know, Russia's way is imperialism, and then like, well, we're just gonna take Ukraine, or we're just gonna take Georgia, or we're just gonna take Moldova. Whereas, you know, in the West, you got to work deals out. You can't just, in theory, you just can't invade neighboring countries because you want their resources or you want their stuff or you don't want them to do this thing or do that thing. Okay? It's been a growing pains here, including the full scale war of Ukraine being fully independent away from Russia. And it's important to support these efforts, support Ukraine being independent. So here's recent comments from Zelenskyy just a little bit ago. We can watch him and I'll read it. Today, a brilliant operation was carried out. The preparation took over a year and a half, 18 months. The most interesting is that the office of our operation on Russian territory was located directly next to the FSB headquarters in one of their regions. Oh, wow. Wow. So they were right next to the FSB the whole time, undercover. In total, 117 drones were used in the operation, with a corresponding number of drone operators involved. 34% of the strategic cruise missile carriers stationed at airbases were hit. We will continue this work. Fuck yeah. Inshallah. We wish you health, fellow Ukrainians. It's about time, dude. It's about time to start getting fucking dirty here. Not dirty like that, but like doing unconventional things, right? You know, the trench warfare and all that, that is the conventional war and the attrition. This is where you start doing things to some some cards here. Zelensky's showing just how much cards he actually does have, okay, contrary to what Trump said. Wish you health, fellow Ukrainians. Just now received a report. Head of the Security Service of Ukraine, Vasil Maluk. A brilliant operation was carried out. Took place on the enemy territory and was aimed exclusively at military targets, specifically the equipment used in strikes against Ukraine. Russia suffered truly significant losses, entirely justified and deserved. I thank the Security Service, General Maluk personally, as well as everyone who was involved in the operation. The preparation took over a year and a half. Planning, organization, every detail was perfectly executed. I can say with certainty that this is an absolutely unique operation. What's most interesting, and this can now be stated publicly, is that this office of our operation on the Russian territory was located directly next to the FSB headquarters in one of the regions. People are being thrown out of a window right now, guys. Somewhere in Russia, someone drank their last cup of tea. I'm just telling you that right now. In total, 117 drones were used in the operation, with a corresponding number of drone operators involved. 34% of the strategic cruise missile carriers stationed at airbases were hit. Our personnel operated across multiple Russian regions in 3 different time zones. And the people who assisted us were withdrawn from Russian territory before the operation. They are now safe. It's genuinely satisfying when something I authorized a year and 6 months ago comes to fruition and deprives Russians of over 40 units of strategic aviation. We will continue this work. Even before this operation was carried out, we had intelligence indicating that Russia was preparing another massive strike. And it is very important for all our people not to ignore the air raid alerts. Last night, there were nearly 500 Russian drones, attack drones. Each week, they have been increasing the number of units used per strike. Now, they have also prepared Caliber missiles launched from naval carriers. We know exactly who we are dealing with. And we will defend ourselves by all means available to us, to Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. Not for a single second did we want this war. We offered the Russians a ceasefire. Since March 11th, the U.S. proposal for a full and unconditional ceasefire has been on the table, which is true. It's true, though, right? As dog shit as Trump and the administration is on all of it, Ukraine agreed to a peace deal because it shows that they did it not to be like, okay, well, Trump is going to save. No, they know that that's not going to happen. They did it to show that Russia is not interested in peace. Like, okay, we'll sign every deal you got then at this point, right? They're not pushing against that fact. They're not. Ukraine isn't going to push against peace deals, and it might make some people upset because like, oh no, Ukraine, don't do that fight. No, they're doing this to show that Russia has no interest in peace because it'll show them because okay, Ukraine's at the table sitting there. What's up? Peace. What's good? What's good? And then Russia doesn't show up, and then everyone can see because people are forcing this peace now instead of the energy that we had to give Ukraine weapons to fight. Now it's the energy is around peace. So now you can show that Russia actually has no interest in it. It was the Russians who chose to continue the war, even under conditions where the entire world is calling for an end to the killing. Yep. And pressure is truly needed, pressure on Russia that should bring it back to reality. Pressure through sanctions, pressure from our forces, pressure through democracy, and all of it must work together. Today, I had an extended meeting with the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, the head of my office, the heads of our intelligence agencies, and my military leadership. We discussed our expectations for the meeting in Istanbul on Monday. We continue to propose a full and unconditional ceasefire, along with all dignified and rational steps that could lead to a lasting and reliable peace. The Ukrainian proposal we presented to the Russians is logical and realistic. The Russians have not shared their memorandum with anyone. We don't have it. The Turkish side doesn't have it. Trump doesn't have it. Yeah, the American side doesn't have it. Do we have concepts of more concepts of plans, guys? Concepts of a memorandum? No one has it. Despite this, we will attempt to achieve at least some progress toward the path to peace. Which, the real path to peace, guys, you know what the real path to peace? If you're like, Mercado, okay, how does Ukraine achieve peace? How do we get peace? This is how.
Вот он, коптер опять взлетел. Откуда взлетает, ничего не понятно, блядь. Вот он, клоун, блядь.
This is how. More of this. Actually, this is good, but like bigger weapons to Ukraine would be great. More weapon systems, more long-range weapon systems, European support, European troops in Ukraine. Grow a pair, do it finally. That will bring peace. Not any of this bullshit that Trump and Istanbul and all that. It's all nothing. It's nothing. It's all words. Today, I also received a report from Commander-in-Chief Zelenskyy on the situation on the front and on our Kursk region. On the operation, I am grateful to all of our units. Resilience on the ground is just as important as our operations. On enemy territory, operations that truly inspire. And one more thing. Today, the Russians launched a missile strike on a military training facility in the Dnipro region. Unfortunately, there are casualties. Our servicemen were killed. My condolences to all of their families and friends. This is not the first such attack when Ukraine loses people. I have scheduled a meeting with the participation of, among others, Mikhailo, Minister Umarov, Zelenskyy, upon his return from negotiations in Istanbul, to address this issue in detail. All our fighters are needed on the front line, defending Ukraine, every one of them. And every life must be protected. All necessary decisions to that end will be made. And I thank everyone who is helping. I thank everyone who stands with Ukraine. Glory Ukraine. So that is Zelenskyy's statements Just recently about the strikes, he posted, there once was a submarine. Once. Moscow will respond by targeting major Ukrainian cities with all they got. Yeah, it's what they have left. So nothing. Yeah. Okay. So, oh my God, they're gonna escalate. Okay, guys, Ukraine can't fight back because then Russia will strike them. I know Russia is striking them regardless, but if Ukraine strikes back, then they're gonna strike them more. Go find a hole and go live in that. Uh-oh. In the Moscow region, missiles production factory now. Oh, sheesh.
Ой, жарко сюда. Вот зря мы сюда пошли, там осколки, блин, летят. Поэтому говорю.
Wow.
Нифига себе.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
Uh-oh.
Что происходит?
This is just posted. It's not old footage.
Тихо, тихо. Ты снимаешь? Да. Охренеть. Ой, жарко сюда.
Russia's worst June 1st ever. What the
Мы сюда пошли, там осколки, блин, летят.
Holy cow.
Говорю, голову. Нифига.
It says Moscow region. What if someone translate the caption?
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
I know that says Russia, that says Moscow right there, but I don't know what the other words are.
Что происходит?
Goodness. What the fuck? Oh, this guy's that guy's a propagandist. This is Anna from Ukraine. They said we had no cards to play while we innovate. In just hours, we took out 34% of the strategic aviation.
You had no cards, they said. Well, we don't play cards. Instead, we think, we innovate, and we destroy 1/3 of the Russian aviation, strategic aviation, in just one day. Think about that. Russia lost not just $7 billion. They lost dozens, if not hundreds, of strategic cruise missile carriers, stocks of these evil missiles, and maybe even a submarine that could carry nuclear warheads, and all during just hours in very different regions of the Russian Federation, in Murmansk, in Irkutsk, near Moscow. They did not know it coming. They could not predict it. They could not stop it. Russia is super vulnerable. Not only they cannot control their borders, they cannot protect their strategic objects. And this time, it's not just an oil refinery or one military air base. These are 5 military air bases. These are dozens of strategic bombers that cannot be replaced because all of them were built back in times of the USSR. Russia will be defeated, and I'm very proud to be Ukrainian, because when we demilitarize Russia, we not only save thousands of innocent lives in Ukraine, we also make the world a safer place. Share and subscribe, that's important.
Share and subscribe. Anna from Ukraine. Cope dropped from Russians with attitude. Final tally of confirmed hits so far seems to be 5 Tu-95s, 2 Tu-22s, and 1 AN-12. According to my info, 2 of the 95s can most likely be repaired relatively soon. Can it? Guys, Russians with attitude says that it can be repaired relatively soon. Hold on. I disagree, and I disagree because just have you even looked at the videos? Like, which one? That one blew up in the video. I don't know what we're talking about. Which ones? The 22s. Sure hurts, but it's not devastating. Cope. Cope harder. We need it. The damage is not super extensive. It sure hurts, but it's not devastating. Fellas, maybe stupid question, but why Russians put tires on their planes? There's landing pad? Soft pillow for the FPV?
В мире. Ведь только здесь в полной мере смогли раскрыть...
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is this? Okay, Russia is the most technologically advanced country in the world. Rubber Ass Research Center, okay.
Россия – самая технологичная страна в мире. Ведь только
After all, this is the only place where the incredible potential of tires could fully be tapped.
на основе
Thanks to unique rubber technology, an anti-drone coating has been developed that can repel any drone attack. And not a single enemy shell can penetrate the elastic rubber armor on the tank. The sonic transportation system will allow you to quickly tackle even the most difficult areas on the battlefield. If a fighter accidentally flies into a body of water, the rubber escape capsule will activate to solve this problem. 3 sets of unique armor have been deployed for infantry. Lights, medium, and maximum protection. This rubber chainmail offers incredible strength and mobility. With it, you can perform the most difficult tasks without endangering. not the wash machine. He's got the toilet on his head. You can do it all without endangering your life. Join the Rubber Asses, Russia's best protected troops. Rubber Asses. Well, there we go. Now we know why the... Okay, that's all I need. I don't need any actual serious analysis. That's perfect. That one actually makes sense. It's probably true. Holy cow. Wow. I retweeted that one. Ukraine launches a large-scale attack on Russian strategic assets. Russia's going to retaliate for this. Because you're a... Yeah, this is the type of person I was referring to earlier in the stream. Global war on terror vet bros that don't have a brain. You can thank them for their service or whatever you want to do, but that's it. Stop listening to them. If they're like, guys, this is just gonna mean Russia's gonna... This is their strat. 1, say something that both sides the war. 2, paint yourself as a victim from supporters of Ukraine. This is like the playbook for these losers, and lots of them do it. I've caught Ronnie doing it from Funker. I've caught all of them do it. Most of them do it. They do this both sides thing where they have to, because they have Russian supporters that follow them, and that's money in their pocket. That's subscribers. That's followers. Okay, so they have to both sides the war the whole time because to keep up the algorithm and their followers, so they don't upset their Russia supporters. And then they cry that the Ukrainian supporters are like, yo, you're stupid. Why are you being dumb? Why are you being an 18 series Green Beret loser? Like everything you wear yourself as online is a LARP. I got into it with this controlled pairs person. This account, it's called Controlled Pairs, and like their profile picture is an operator. It with like a fucking headset on, and the whole thing, like the whole operator, tier 1, you know, and then like they're like, hey, I think I should just tell you guys that war is so bad, and here is my opinion about how war is bad. No one asked you. Shut up. Shut up. Like there's nothing useful about that. Like, again, thank them for their service. They did a service to the United States of America, and that's it. You don't owe them shit else. Don't give them your time either. Okay, it's useless. If you don't have a veteran, a U.S. Veteran that's advocating for defense, right? If you have one that's advocating for imperialism, you don't go there either. But like the one that's like, yo, I'm going to use my military experience to tell you why supporting Ukraine. I don't even know how to put it, because this is so black and white. I don't even know how to both sides of this at this point. Thank God I don't. Thank goodness I don't, because it's just common sense to me that Ukraine is defending themselves. Russia attacked them, and especially in a culture of America about self-defense, right? We have America is self-defense kingdom. Boy, you get attacked, you can pull out a Gatling gun on them. America, baby. Hell yeah. Castle doctrine. And then the same people that are all about that, like, cower in victimhood when it comes to Ukraine because one of their favorite podcasters or something, or their whatever they get their information from is telling them that, like, our taxpayer money, they're taking all of our money and giving it to Ukraine, and it's all cooked. It's all super cooked. And then it just makes me extra upset when I see veterans doing this because, again, like I said earlier, we went to the Middle East for none of this. We didn't go there to preserve democracy or anything. In the scheme of it, yes, we're gonna have like American citizens that will thank us for keeping them safe. Okay, but like besides like the domestic troops that are in the U.S., doing air defense or whatever, like we're not fighting anything, but they're on the positions in America, in the United States, on the coastline, or like the Coast Guard, ironically, or the National Guard, right? Were we really? You know what I mean? Whereas like Ukraine here is literally keeping their people safe by fighting. They have to defend their country against Russia, or literally Russia will take ground, right? And in the war on terror, it's not like, hey, shit, we took a fat L in Ramadi. That means Texas now is going to lose ground or something. Like that was never the case. It was just like, hey, thank the troops for our service and doing what we got to do to protect America. But it was kind of like by proxy. Whereas here, it's literally like Ukraine is defending their territory and defending their people. So it just bothers me. It just really does. I have no respect for vets that do that either. I'll say thank you for what you did, but beyond that, go find a hobby. Go do something else. A lot of vets play softball. Go do that. You can go hit a ball 500 yards and go have fun. Go hit home runs. Political commentary and geopolitical commentary is not for you, buddy. What's this one now? Greatest intel operation in history. Ukrainian drones reach Siberia. Is this another video? Oh, what is this now? What the fuck is all this? Why did I feel like 18,000 sounds were added to that? That's why listen guys, y'all, I got my sources I like from videos, but a lot of the videos getting posted are skibbity, okay? I don't know what to tell you. Some of these video sources are crazy work. What do we got here? I don't think I've seen this one. I think those were additional air raid sounds added to the video. Explosions and smoke were also seen. What are we looking at here? Oh, hammer strikes on Russian positions. So these are just general strikes on Russian positions on the front lines. The explosions and smoke were also seen at Diaghilevo and Ivanovo Severny air bases. Satellite images will have to tell which damage has been done. Okay, so you got a lot of strikes being carried out on the front lines in addition to the strikes on these bases. What is this one? Russian equipment damage. Okay, so just some combat on the front lines. Trying to keep it to some of the strikes on these bases, y'all. Just watch that. Ryazan, at least 5 explosions have been heard. Ryazan. Swearing already. June 1st. This just got posted a little under a half hour ago. At least 5 explosions. Strikes are still being carried out. Suka. Can't hear anything yet. They got the pixelation at the bottom.
Ну, окна дрогнули. Вон тачки все за это. Вон тачки.
Goodness. More Bavovna and Kursk. So these are all videos that are just coming in within the last hour of more attacks on Russian stuff. Yeah, that's not real. Wish it was. Nearly 11:23 p.m. on June 1st. Bad day to be in Kursk. Bad day to be there, huh? What else we got? That's the latest one. In Kursk, Russia's elite S-400 air defense system just went in full genius mode and slammed a missile straight into a residential high-rise. What is the air defense doing? So this is Russia. This happens all of. This is what happened in the east in Donetsk too. Russia would have these systems right next to the apartment buildings and then use them, and then they would self-destruct or like turn around and then hit the target, and then they go, oh wow, Ukraine's striking apartment buildings in Donetsk, Donbass, the Donbass. They were striking civilians there for 19 years in the Bass. That propaganda has kind of died out, thank God. Haven't heard that one in a while. Goodness. So we got recent strikes happening. Ho's mad. That's a different. FBI investigating a target attack that occurred in a pro-Israel protest. Goodness. Israel and Palestine protests still going. What else we got here? I think I've gone through. There's the Russian losses today. As of June 1st, today, we got 1,230 troops, 4 AFVs, 127 vehicles and fuel tanks, 5 tanks, 52 artillery systems, 151 UAVs. We got 3 cruise missiles. We got 1 special equipment. Overall, as of today, Russian losses. With all of this coming in, with all the news striking these Russian air bases, there's their total numbers, and they're getting near 1 million. 1 million troop losses within Ukraine. Okay, yet they continue. You know, Trump is basically begging. Trump is basically begging Russia to stop this and don't do it anymore by pressuring Ukraine. But it's Trump's way, and Russia's like, we're going to continue. Let's continue. We want 1 million losses. We love seeing our air bases get blown up and go viral on the internet, and everybody go, wait, why are we pressuring Ukraine again? Wait, why are we angry at Ukraine for whatever, and Russia can't even protect their own bases? Trump and his administration were not warned. Yeah, we know that. That's old news now. Trump was not told, thankfully. Thank you. Oh, we got 5 gifted coming in. Thank you so much. Hello, thank you. Build Up Texas. Also, thank you to the Facebook viewers, everybody over there. Thank you everybody on Twitch as well. You guys are awesome. Appreciate that. Here. Ukraine's audacious drone attack sends critical message to Russia and the West. BBC. Go back to YouTube and see if any new reports have come in. Russia self-destructing. It does happen. President Stewart put an update out. Everyone's live. ATP's live. Russia airfield. Russia airfield. Let's see what else. ABC reported it.
With more on this, I want to bring in ABC News contributor Mick Mulroy. He's a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East and a great person to help sort us through this. Mick, how significant is an attack like this? Not the Russian one, the Ukrainian one.
Yeah, Phil. So this was a very impressive intel-driven special operations. The SBU is their equivalent.
The true special military operation,
Equivalent
guys.
to the CIA. And it's obvious that they planned this for many, many months, and it was carried out exquisitely to be able to hit all 4 of these strategic airfields that are thousands of kilometers into Russia, essentially simultaneously, causing billions of dollars worth of damage to their strategic level bombers. So not just the aircraft that they use to attack Ukraine almost daily, but also the aircraft they would use to deliver nuclear weapons should they have a war that would require that from themselves. So this is a huge success for Ukraine. Hopefully it pushes Russia to accept the U.S. proposed 30-day ceasefire, but it's going to cause militaries around the world to look at just what level of security they have for their strategic assets, because this proved the vulnerability.
Yes, but also Russia's planes have been attacked in the open like this for 3 straight years, and Russia still has not done anything to prevent it. Okay, it's more on Russia. Well, the other militaries probably, when Russia was attacked first and saw their airfield and their planes out, like what, in 2023, 2020, even 2022, I think we saw big airfields getting hit with their planes just sitting out in the wide open.
Is right there in what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Mick, that's something I took away from the last time we spoke, hour and a half or so ago, that other militaries around the world are going to have to look at this, because we just got a look at these pictures of what looks to be shipping containers with retractable roofs and drones waiting to come out and destroy conventional planes. You talked a little bit about the preparation, but how does a military under fire do something like this?
So it took a lot of patience for sure, and it took a lot of really hard intelligence work and covert operations to be able to know exactly where they needed to.
Remember, guys, 18 months of operation, or 18 months of planning.
They could get there and then do this all coordinated in timing. And you referenced President Zelenskyy oversaw this himself. But this really shows some of these drones are, a couple $1,000s a piece, and they were taking out $1 million aircraft. And essentially, you could see from the videos online, they were flying almost unabated around these airfields, targeting these aircraft with almost no defenses. So this is something that I think every
What air defense doing?
military, including our own, is going to look at and see just how vulnerable they are to these type of operations. Relatively low cost for the impact in the billions of dollars. And some of these aircraft will take years to replace, if they even replace them. So this is very significant and something that, certainly is good for Ukraine and those of us that support Ukraine. And hopefully it'll push Russia to the table to have a serious discussion on a ceasefire.
Well, Mick, about that, leaders from Russia and Ukraine are expected to return to the table for a second round of peace talks. What impact does this have, in your opinion? I mean, you say hopefully it pushes the Russians, to the negotiating table. Do you think it will, or does someone like Vladimir Putin just say, okay, now it's on, and respond in a bigger way?
I think it'll be one factor. The other factors we'll see is there's a push in the U.S. Senate to pass what's called the Sanctioning Russia Act, which will put significant tariffs on countries that buy Russian energy, and that's how they fund their war machine. Senators Blumenthal and Senators Graham were in and might still be in Ukraine, and they are the sponsors of this bill, which apparently has over 80 senators supporting it. That would be a huge factor. Also, increasing security assistance across the board for the United States and Europe, as well as releasing some of these frozen Russian assets. These are all factors that is what brings Putin to the table. That is what he understands, consequences, the only thing he understands. He likely would not admit that this was a factor that would bring him to the table, but I certainly think it will be one of the factors, including the others I just referenced.
All right, well, we'll be watching this week. Mick.
If that sanctions package gets going, actually, you're going to have a lot of infighting in the right wing in the United States. I'm telling you that now. You're going to have Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh boy. Laura Loomer, Tim Pool, all of the Russian paid assets are going to activate again. What do you mean Trump is going to, he wants to sign a sanction? We can't sanction Russia. Ukraine took all our money. What is Trump doing? It's going to be the best. It'll be the best infighting I've ever seen. They already are infighting. It's already happening. So this'll definitely fuel that. Let's see how CNN reported it.
Ukraine says it carried out large-scale drone attacks on multiple air bases, including some thousands of miles inside Russia. It says Operation Spiderweb caused $7 billion.
Spiderweb's in the chat.
In damage. A Ukrainian military source said multiple combat planes were destroyed in the attack. Russia has confirmed there was an attack, but is giving few details. CNN's Sebastian Shukla is following the developments for us. Sebastian, what are you learning about this attack?
Yeah, Fred, this is a really audacious attack which has been carried out by Ukraine's intelligence services known as the SBU. And it appears on Sunday they launched from multiple places inside Russia, the key here being inside Russia, attacks.
Again, just to give you a map of it, there it is. So I have here's Kyiv as the center point. Just put it like here. Okay, there's Kyiv. And there were 4 air bases struck, but this just to show you how far away a couple of them were. Pretty far. Balea Air Base and the northern base, we can't pronounce it. It's to the east of Finland, where the nuclear sub was, allegedly, according to Ukraine.
On Russian air bases housing strategic military aircraft, things that would go into the sky for surveillance and monitoring purposes and reconnaissance.
Ryazan, Ivanovo, oh, they're just calling it Murmansk. Okay, I can just do that too. Murmansk and Balea.
Above the skies of Russia and over Ukraine to gather intelligence. What the Ukrainians are saying is that this has been a highly coordinated attack with...
This is dumb. Our main enemy is China, not Russia. Are they?
Swarms of drones attacking these Russian air bases all at the...
If China's our main enemy and you want us to focus on China only and China be your only enemy ever, then you should support efforts to stop Russia from acting like a fucking... Like, Russia's a terrorist country. Okay? A giant terrorist country that keep bombing and invading their neighbors.
Same time
and countries that are a part of Western alliances now.
And those videos that have been coming out on social media show the devastation and damage that has been wrought on these aircraft. Many of them on the tarmac there. There's one in particular. I don't know if we're able to show it. You can see a first-person view, you know, from the drone that shows these planes and drones hitting these planes on airfields or in airfields inside Russia. It is a truly astonishing attack, because what the Ukrainians have managed to do is damage some 40 aircraft, as you say, left billions of dollars of damage here for the Russians. And most surprisingly, these have taken place not on the borderlands or the areas of Ukraine where the fighting is going on. One of these, in particular, Irkutsk, is in Siberia. That's 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine. And so this talks to a much broader, systematic, well-planned, coordinated attack by Ukrainian intelligence, which has really stepped up now and delivered a crucial blow here to the Russians, Fred.
And then how does this attack compare to, you know, previous attacks by Ukraine?
Okay, why isn't China an Asian problem then? Okay, if Russia's invasion of Ukraine is an EU problem, then why are you saying that China's our enemy then? Why isn't it the Asian countries' problem that are our allies? Huh? Why do we have to focus on China?
Against Russia.
Yeah, well, this is a big one, and the difference, though, is that this has happened from inside Russia. We have all seen the videos of drone attacks hitting Russian military and infrastructure targets for the past many months, and it has been a coordinated campaign from the Ukrainians. But those have been launched, by and large, if not all of them, from inside Ukraine. You know, I have been part of a Ukrainian military intelligence operation to launch drones into Russia, but those drones took off from inside Ukraine. Yeah. So this marks...
And they have those drones too, right? Like the Ukraine has the drones to start in Ukraine and then go far. But again, these drones didn't start here. They were inside of Russia already within those trucks.
Major change. We've also seen the Ukrainians been able to push back the Russian Navy in the Black Sea, which has also allowed them to protect their coastline, the Ukrainians to protect their coastline and attacks coming from sea into Ukraine. But this coming from inside Russia is a real game changer, and it will send a message to the Kremlin, Fred, that our operations now are becoming more sophisticated. We have the equipment, we have the hardware, we have the military know-how, and crucially here, we have the intelligence that allows us to operate inside the Russian Federation. And all of this coming at a time, Fred, where The Russians and the Ukrainians are due to meet tomorrow in Turkey to try...
Which, again, I already have a poll up for that one. Looking at the numbers, you guys, we have some votes. Thanks. 881 votes on the poll. Ukraine-Russia peace talks tomorrow, which I will be covering on the stream, so you better make sure you subscribe to the channel. Notification bell on. All right, we're going to be... Well, we have to probably start an earlier stream. I have softball later in the night. Monday nights are my softball nights, but we'll be covering what happens at the peace talks during the daytime tomorrow. Do you think they will achieve peace? They'll be useful, they'll be pointless and useless, or they'll be unsure? And 78% of you guys think they'll be pointless and useless. And then the next highest is 13% think it'll be, you're unsure of what's going to happen.
To hash out or at least make some sort of progress towards bringing into act a ceasefire to stop the fighting in Ukraine, which was supposed to be and is hopefully going to lead to finally the ending of this conflict, which has been going on now, Fred, since February 2022.
All right, Sebastian Shukla, thank you so much. All right, let's bring in Jill Doherty right now. She's a CNN contributor.
We got one take. We don't need like multiple takes from CNN. I just wanted to see how some of these other sources are reporting on what happened. If they're like both sidesing it or like, oh no. Let's see how France did.
Ian Patrick, Senior Associate Professor in Warfare and Counterterrorism at the University of Bath, former British Army captain as well, NATO analyst. Great to have you on the programme, Patrick. Let's first of all, it's in this conflict we are used to seeing every day, pretty depressing news or images that we are kind of become used to. Suddenly, I just want to know your reaction when you saw this news coming through of Ukraine saying this operation has hit and destroyed 40 Russian aircraft.
It's daring, it's impressive. The security piece alone is very impressive to be able to pull this off, get teams obviously in there with these trucks full of drones. The piece been planning it, as I said, for a year and a half. But, on the other hand, we have, and there's obviously a huge info ops, a prepared info ops piece on the Ukrainians to go with this immediately and sort of say how they've done it and release footage. But we've only seen footage of about 4 or 5 aircraft, and if you've hit 40, why aren't you showing it? So, especially when you've got this info op piece going on. So I think there's a lot that remains to be seen. Nevertheless, it's significant. And I mean, there's going to be Air Force commanders of nuclear forces all around the world wondering, are they safe now? Because this has opened a can of worms. It's a can of worms that we knew existed. We knew that you could get drones into containers. We knew that you can get missiles into containers. Indeed, one of the big threats, say, to the US fleet is the chance that China could have these containers filled with either missiles or drones actually in US ports, for example. So it's an evolution.
Keep listening. I'm grabbing stream juice really quick.
But people who were close to the game, they knew that this was something that would be possible. I think the really impressive thing is the secrecy and the ability of the Ukrainians to get this so far. In one case, 6,500 miles, one of the successful attacks we know of, 6,500 miles behind the front line. That's impressive. It's also worrying for the Russians, of course.
Hitting deep into Siberia, some of these images coming from these images we're seeing right now, released by, as you say, SBU info operations, and actually there's also images that they've put out which shows where some of the drones they say were stored in some of these cabins. Give me your understanding, because more information is dripping out here about how it seems that almost 500 drones were smuggled across. They were stored under the rooftop of these cabins, very close to, is it 3 or do we know if it's 4 airfields?
It looks like there might have been 5 targets, actually.
Where's the 5th one?
And there's footage again of one of the trucks not making it and
oh, yeah. Well, okay, 4 confirmed hits, and then that 5th one, that was 6,000 kilometers that we saw the truck on the side of the road, but it wasn't successful. So 4 with a 5th one that was attempted
on investigation. So and again, the Russians have denied, and we've got no footage of successful attacks at 2 of the other air bases. So it looks like 5 targets in total that we know so far, of which we know that 2 were successful to some extent. We'll just have to wait and see. Does more footage come out? But yeah, it's based around, there's an interesting thing going on as well in terms of it looks like the drivers that drove these containers didn't know they were Russian nationals, and they didn't know what was in them. them. And that's something that's been going on. You know, for your French viewers would be aware, there's a intense Russian sabotage campaign going across Europe and the UK, and indeed potentially in the United States in some places. So
in some places, from the top down, more like.
And a lot of that is working on this idea of the gig economy. The people are getting recruited by intelligence services, not really knowing what they're doing at all, or some cases knowing but thinking it's some sort of smaller criminal enterprise. And so I think there's an element of that going on too, where you know, people are recruited and it's sort of no contract base. I'll give you this amount of money for this job. Here it is. Go and do it, and then you're a party to something quite serious. But the interesting thing about this is, you know, the fact that it's become from the containers, and why are the SBU releasing it is because they want the FSB, the Russian Security Service, to get themselves, and the police to get themselves in a tizzy, basically, you know, going, oh my God, anything in a container could be a threat, and to have to put more resource to protect these strategic Air Force bases.
That's a very good point. I'm going to put that to Doug in a minute as well, actually, because Doug wants to pick up on the kind of the psychology.
Yeah, the tires aren't enough, Russia.
Of the optics war as well. But on the information war, very interesting. You talk about, actually, we've seen images of what, maybe 4 aircraft. If there are 40 or 41, as Kyiv has updated, saying at least 40, 41. And it's not just about, they can prove it somehow. And again, we're into a position where it's going to be very hard, given this is going on Russian territory. It's not known for absolute transparency, let's face it. What does that do as a physical dent to Russia's strategic air ability?
Listen, I would be very skeptical about that, because you're talking about like the number of T-95s they have open source is about 55. So if you're saying you took out 40, maybe it's just 40 aircraft, but you know, again, there's a lack of clarity exactly about what they're saying they've taken. But 40 aircraft of you know, T-55s would be huge. You know, what is that, sort of 70% off the top of my head? So you know, you will have to wait and see. The reports I've seen are of some U-95s and then potentially an A-50, which is really a strategic air.
Which I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen video or image of the A-50 being hit. That would be big. That's the Russian big surveillance plane. That's their big one.
Warning aircraft, which is an asset of which they
like an AWACS.
Don't have many of them. Obviously, the Tu-95s are old aircraft. They're not in production at the moment. They're difficult to replace. So even the loss of, say, 4 of them would be a significant loss, given they have 55, of which we don't know how many are operational. So, but again, I'd be highly surprised if they took out 40 Tu-95, but let's wait and see.
Even if they've taken out 4, and given the scale of this operation, a year and a half, Operation Spiderweb, your understanding and your deep insight in the intelligence community, to what extent do you think that Kyiv would have had to, or not, broach this, communicate with Europe, with Brussels, with Paris, for example, with the US, to alert them to this? Or you think they've kept it completely on the down low?
I think usually the Ukrainians keep this on the down low. They've learned that lesson. That would be my take on this. I'd be more surprised if they told anyone. I also think, you know, a lot of this is down to Russian complacency. Like, if you're sitting there, these drones are launched short-range drones. It looks like they aren't
Which again, here's the air defense team. It didn't go well. If you just haven't seen it yet, here's what they were doing. Тут пизда. Didn't go well.
Optic controlled, so they could be jammed if the Russians had a proper counter UAV piece there. The Russians are basically sort of sitting there in these far off bases thinking that they're safe by virtue of distance. And that seems to have been, I mean, some heads are going to roll, or people are going to fall out of windows, aren't they, in Russia, for that assumption, I would have thought.
What's interesting, Patrick, and Doug was just raising this, and Emmanuel earlier, was this separate incident in Bryansk. We've 2 explosions, 2 bridges, one of the bridges coming down on a train, 7 people killed, say the Russian authorities, including the train driver. Now, Ukraine not saying that was us. Kyiv security officials saying this is a false flag operation. What do you make of that?
Don't know, can't really say, you know, but it, you know, dropping logistics bridges is a legitimate target in war, and you would do it, of course, if there's a train passing underneath. That's when you and it looks like both of these have been done at that time. Makes sense in terms of trying to isolate and make you know, freedom of movement in the rear area is much more difficult. So, but hard to say exactly.
Okay, so same analysis we've kind of had. Nothing real different. Nothing real different about it. You know, what's your Preston Stewart's take, actually?
Today is June 1st.
I like Preston. We talk and share work. Let's see what he says.
2025, and Russia is burning. Not the entire country, but a few key strategic airfields after Ukraine smuggled in short-range drones in some hidden compartments in cargo trucks, launched them, and appear to have destroyed or significantly degraded one key leg of the Russian nuclear triad. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we're still learning the effects of this operation, but it is starting to look like this might be the most daring and most effective military operation that we've seen in a long time. So what we know right now, again, the details are still coming out, is that Ukraine effectively targeted and struck 4 strategic Russian airfields in the eastern portion, or the central and eastern portion of the country. I'm going to butcher the names here. Belaya, Yaglevo, Olenia, and Ivanovo. There's also a rumor that a submarine base was hit. That, at this point, is not confirmed. There was some footage that was shared from a different location attributed to the sub base. The 4 airfields are confirmed. Those airfields are home to some of Russia's strategic airlift capability and strategic bomber capability. Tu-95s, Tu-95s are strategic bombers capable of carrying nuclear weapons. IL-76 are strategic airlift aircraft, and then A-50, A-50s are like their AWACS.
Yep. That, again, we're still waiting on like a picture of that,
early warning,
like a confirmation on
platforms. That is where a lot of these are housed, and based off of the footage that we're seeing, at least a couple of those have been destroyed. Now, the reason that we haven't really heard the names of those airfields before, there's a lot of others much closer to Ukraine that are getting hit on a pretty regular basis, all things considered. But these airfields that were just hit earlier today are a long ways away from Ukraine. Belaya, for instance, 4,500 kilometers from Kharkiv. That's greater than the distance from New York to California. Ukraine just simply does not have any munitions that go that far. The West has not. We talk about ATACMS or Storm Shadows or Taurus missiles. None of those are traveling 4,500 kilometers. All right. So the way that this played out is actually pretty interesting. We've got a few more details that have started to come out. Now, in terms of the impact here, we should note that we don't know how many aircraft have been destroyed and or damaged. We probably won't ever know that. We'll get some clear footage released by Ukraine, no doubt, because we already have some. Russia, it's not in their interest to share exactly how many of these aircraft have been taken out because we have a general idea of how many they have in operation. And again, when you're talking about Tu-95 bombers, that's one leg of Russia's nuclear triad.
Yeah, it's Preston, not Peterson.
We've got the submarine-launched nuclear missiles, we've got the ground-based nuclear missiles, and then you've got the air-launched nuclear capabilities. If one of those takes a 10, 15, 60% hit, whatever it is, that's a significant degradation to the overall threat that Russia poses. So they're not going to share it. Now, turning to what this operation may have looked like, we've got some really interesting footage and pictures here. According to Jimmy Rushton, he says details and images of the preparation of today's SBU operation have been revealed by Ihor Lachenikov. The special operation, codenamed Spiderweb, was a result. As a result, the SBU hit 41 Russian strategic aviation aircraft. That's very specific. We've heard Russian sources so far throw out on or about 40. 41 makes me think that they were actually counting these as they struck home. So let's keep that number back in mind. He says they were prepared for this operation, took more than a year and a half to prepare. According to our sources, the operation was extremely complex from a logistical point of view. The SBU first transported FPV drones to Russia and later mobile wooden containers. And you'll see some of these here. They say
as we saw in the pictures. I want to see his take at the end, though. Yeah, we saw a lot of that stuff.
Deterrence that, if nothing else, has been to grow very pro-Russian nationalistic accounts talking about, hey, we need to go over the top here in the response. This cannot be a, let's launch another 100 or 150 drones and missiles at Ukrainian cities even. They want something big. They want something that their population can celebrate. I don't expect that it would lead to any sort of actual nuclear attack, but the reason that two majors is even getting into that direction is what we mentioned at the beginning of this video. This is one leg of the Russian nuclear triad. So you're talking about an aspect of their nuclear deterrence that, if nothing else, has been degraded a little bit. And when you look at Russian nuclear doctrine, that is one of the aspects they talk about that would justify a retaliatory nuclear strike in their eyes. And from a big picture, you have to think about that with a, say the United States and Russia were at war. If the United States did not launch a nuclear attack, but if the U.S. or NATO went after and knocked out the entire Russian Air Force and they were no longer capable of firing air-launched nuclear weapons, that's a hit to Russia's ability to defend themselves. They might view that as the necessary response being a nuclear strike. We don't tend to see that when it's a non-nuclear state attacking a nuclear state, but this is Russia, and they tend to go that direction pretty quickly. So nonetheless, we do need to keep an eye out.
There'll probably just be a lot of threats. Maybe they'll do another dud like they did to try to saber rattle, but it'll be, I don't think Russia doesn't have the cards to do that. They do one of those moves, I think they do lose China. They will lose BRICS nations, South Africa, India, especially with Modi coming to the US and he's like, oh, I get treated well here. Trump likes me. I just think that would be, that would ruin Putin. And I don't think they would do that. Right after Lindsey Graham went to Ukraine. Wow, there it is. It's already starting. Already starting. There's Cat Turd. He's on the horn. He's on the horn. Where is it? Oh boy. He tweets so much. This tweet isn't that long ago. 2 hours. Zelenskyy doesn't want peace. So this is the Marjorie Taylor Greene MAGA, okay? And if Trump takes a position to support Ukraine, I'm telling you, it's going to cause a rift. It's going to cause an infighting with these people. It's going to be bad, but good, because they'll defeat themselves. What did Ronnie say? Russia has had somewhere around 50 operational Tu-95s. If even as low as 4 or 5, reports go as high as 40, but that's absurd, are destroyed entirely. That's 10% of its fleet on those airframes. 10 destroyed, 20%. That's just Tu-95s. We operate 19 B-2 bombers, losing just one of them sitting on a runway to a drone swarm operation that included smuggling trucks with hidden compartments full of drones to within miles of their location would be a catastrophe of a magnitude that I'm not eloquent in. That's what I tried to tell you guys that earlier, that if even one FPV drone hit a U.S. military base inside of the U.S., the world would shut down. We would shut everything down. Nothing would happen. The airspace would close. I'd be streaming. We'd all be inside. Okay. And America would close for the week until that, whatever happens. And then we'd come back next week and the world would too, because the world economy would stop for a second. Okay. The fact Russia can just take drones inside their own country 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine, that a war that Russia started, is, again, like Ronnie says, I don't know how to put it into smart words on how what's happening here with this. It's night and day. Russia is such a clown country. A 10%, 20% more reduction overnight in a strategic capability is not a small reduction in capability and won't be taken lightly. Russia will respond, and it'll be a big response. What exactly that is, I'm not sure. It's not as though they weren't already hucking cruise missiles at cities, but I expect something beyond that. No, I'm not saying that, and you know what I mean. So that's like nuking. So he's not saying that Russia's going to nuke back. I don't know why you don't just say it. Regardless, don't let this get aside as just another thing from the war in Ukraine. Yep. That's good. That's good. It's not just another offensive thing, or like, I know, like I said earlier at the start of the stream, a lot of actions at this point, especially in the last few months, get hyped, right? That aren't really significant. This is something to get hyped about, and it is very significant strikes within the Russian territory. You can already see some of the what is this?
We're here, bro. We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing. We can. Not here. You have to end Zionist. Not here, bro. You're not.
People are taking video right now. He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his back.
Spraying alcohol.
But what he did was he made it look like he was here.
He's making Molotov cocktails.
You got like a terror attack in Boulder, Colorado happening right now.
And for us,
But we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails on.
If you are fighting, you have to.
That's what he's got right here. Is Molotov cocktails.
Right there.
Alcohol.
They are killers.
Get back, Mom.
How many times?
I don't. That's the okay. Might have to do a stream on that. I don't know what's happening there. I have no idea what's going on with that. We've been covering this. Okay. I don't know. That's happening right now though. Might have to do another stream. Here it is. Euro Truck Simulator 2, Heart of Russia. Euro Truck Simulator 2, Heart of Russia. That's what I want to play. I got to get this DLC, you guys. Speaking of that, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do another stream today. We're good. Sundays, I need to recuperate for the week. Got a lot going on, especially now with the peace talks coming up. Any breaking news that happens during the week, I want to make sure I'm, I'm well rested. So today I'm going to be on my gaming channel now. I was going to be all day today, but breaking news came in. I'm glad you guys were able to tune in for the past 3 hours, but I think that's good. We went around the horn, saw all the clips, all the takes, the news reports, and I think now we can let it rest until tomorrow, until we see what happens with these Istanbul nonsense, which, again, overwhelming majority of the chat, 77% of the chat said these talks are going to be pointless and useless. All right, so I agree. I do agree with the majority of the chat on that one. With that note, come on over though if you guys do want to hang out. Maybe there might be breaking news further. I'm not going to cover the Boulder, Colorado stuff. I'm just going to go game, guys. I just need my brain can only handle so much of madness, and I'm in a good mood now, especially after what happened with Ukraine. I've been in a bad mood for a while, and I want to carry that till tomorrow. Okay, so you guys come on over. Gaming channel. We're playing Roadcraft. We're gonna play this game. It's called Roadcraft today. It's a chill game. We're gonna go save devastated areas and rebuild roads and chill with a couple of our friends, Tevo and Danky. Mod Danky in the chat, and Tevo plays on Twitch. Okay, we're gonna go build stuff and drive around and play in a sandbox. But if something crazy happens though, like I'm not covering the Boulder stuff, so you can go watch Agenda Free if you want. But I'll be there. Any earth-shattering news I need to cover, I'll be over here. Come get me. Come say hi. I'll be on my gaming channel. Okay, Mercado Media, Mercado Gaming. This is awesome. Go watch my video. Go watch my movie. Here, you want to go see Mercado Gaming? Go watch my movie I made about life in Alaska. I made a half-hour-long video. It's actually getting a lot of views now on my channel. 4,000 views. Played Manor Lords yesterday. We played Division. Look at this is what we did yesterday. I was live for 5 hours, almost 4.5 hours, building a Ukrainian village in a panel, and then we were freaking liberating Brooklyn last night for 10.5 hours with Tevo. So we're having a blast, guys. We play games over here. We play a good time. I also do a server. I'm a part of a mill sim, and we go fight Russians in it. Okay, Russians are the bad guys in this game, and we go and eliminate them, and then fundraise for Ukraine at the same time with Armor Reforger. So check that out. Great times over here. So if you ever just want to relax and get away from current events while also staying plugged in, because obviously I have all you guys on this channel and I'm not going anywhere. So if you ever just want to hang out, while still being in tune with the community, come on over and check us out. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for all the support on the stream today. Go support an FPV fundraiser if you can, especially after today's news. There's tons of them. Try to find one. I'll try to get. I'm not going to host one, but I'll try to find one I can push out and promote for tomorrow to talk about more in depth. But thank you guys, everybody, for supporting Mercado Media. Thank you to everybody supporting all the efforts. You guys are amazing. I'll be live again tomorrow. Not a long stream though, because I have early softball. I gotta go touch grass, guys. I gotta go touch grass. I gotta go hit home runs. Okay, so I'm gonna go do that tomorrow. We have early games, but when I get home tomorrow night, we'll do more gaming. Tuesday we'll be back normal. A 3-hour stream. I only envision like a 1 to 2 hour stream tomorrow, covering just the instant. I'm probably just going to cover the peace talks and not much else because I only have limited time because I got to get to the fields. Got to get out there and play. I got to get out there, get outside. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the members. Thank you to the mods, the channel. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the subscribers. You guys have a blessed day. Slava Ukraine and Vladimir Putin do fuck off. Take care.